748 downtown. I'm Kurt Darling. Here's what's trending at 9:02. Those are happening now in the Delphi murders trial. The defense rested its case on Wednesday, which came to a surprise to many in the courtroom. But soon after, the court recessed, and now both sides have just 2.5 hours apiece to sway the jury before they go into deliberation. Indy police stood off for several hours yesterday with a man on the east side. Ryan Hedrick reports.
It was Wednesday when a woman told Indy Metro cops that she was being held at gunpoint by a man who was holed up in a home near Sherman Drive in East Washington Street. Police responded Wednesday night, but when they tried to enter the home, this man fired his weapon at police. SWAT team members and snipers were placed on nearby rooftops. It took the cops 7.5 hours to get this guy out. Fortunately, no police officers were injured. Ryan Hedrick, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
When Mike Braun becomes governor in January, he plans to be active in leading state legislators on the vision that he has for the state.
If we do what we've been doing over the last 12 years, that is losing an unbelievable opportunity.
He tells WYBC's Tony Katz that he plans to be vocal and out in front on issues that he feels need to be addressed. The speed limit has been lowered along a stretch of US 40 in Plainfield. It's between Ventura and Vandalia Boulevards, where the speed limit has now gone from 55 to 45. NDOT spokesman Blake Dollar says it's a change they've been looking at for a while.
Believe it or not, in this area, while it's 55 right now, we've still seen an increase in pedestrian traffic. We have some neighborhoods, some stores in that area.
But he tells Wish TV a fatal crash involving a police officer in August also sped up the process. The Indiana Pacers with a gritty win over the Orlando Magic last night, 118 to 111, as described by head coach Rick Carlisle.
We got to keep developing more grit. These games are coming down to loose balls and rebounds, and we were gritty, and that was the difference.
Benedict Mathurin scoring 20 points. The Pacers head to Charlotte on Friday. Traffic on the 5s, Jeremy Scott.
Well, Kurt, we've got a lot of problems out there, and they've really been increasing the past 15 minutes. New crash on the near north side, 19th and College. Crash on the east side, 10th and Arlington. And problems on the northeast side, where 465 eastbound is heavy from Keystone to past Allisonville with a crash in the left lane. It's in that counterflow lane, so stay in the locals. You'll be fine. Also getting new reports of a rollover or a westbound 70 at Shadeland. You're heavy all the way back from Franklin, 65, 70 southbound to Mass from Ohio and to Fletcher. And still got that crash on the right shoulder on the east side of 465 northbound from Washington to Pendleton Pike. Traffic is sponsored by Grand Appliance. Shop Grand Appliance for Black Friday pricing all month long, plus thousands of rebate savings on top brands. Learn more at grandappliance.com or your local Grand showroom. I'm Jeremy Scott with Traffic on the Pies. Follow us on X at WIBC Traffic.
Hey, can you blow up some balloons for Jack's party?
I can't. I'm so congested.
You need Sinex Saline from Vicks.
Sinex Saline Nasal Spray?
Yeah, just Sinex. Breathe.
Sinex Saline instantly clears everyday congestion associated with colds and year-round allergies with a gentle, ultra-fine mist that's no mess and easy to control.
Daddy, we need more balloons.
On it.
Enjoy life's important moments without congestion. Try Sinex Saline from Vicks. Just Sinex. Breathe. Use as directed.
For indoor and outdoor concrete, consider Galaxy Concrete Coating, like John did. Here's his review. Really enjoyed working with Jack on this project. He helped make sure we matched the best possible color to use and gave us a very competitive quote on the pricing. Kyle and Mason did an outstanding job. Whether it's for indoor and outdoor concrete, like your driveway, pool deck coating, even your patio, call Galaxy Concrete Coating at 317-751-9070. Get a free quote at galaxyconcretecoatings.com.
This hour on 93 WIBC is powered by B&W HVAC, Plumbing and Electrical, your American Standard air dealer.
The forecast from the American Standard Heating Weather Center.
We'll see a mix of sun and clouds as we head into the afternoon with quiet weather. Today's high 61. No problem tonight. Partly cloudy and cool, a low of 41. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Marcus Bailey for 93 WIBC.
A clear radar 48 on Monument Circle. I'm Kurt Darling on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
When we talk about sending money somewhere, we're talking about printing the money because we have no money.
And Casey Daniels.
My government would never lie to me, would they?
On 93 WIBC.
Well, good morning. It is Thursday, November 7th, 7 minutes after 9. It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. So later on this morning, Governor-elect Mike Braun will be joining us. And also at 11 o'clock this morning, Joe Biden has scheduled a press conference. So we're going to get to the bottom of that, see what is on his mind. But
Wait. Biden's going to have a press conference?
Yeah.
Like on his own?
I do believe so.
He's going to get up there and chat
He's going to
with
talk.
the world?
He's going to say
what does
something.
it matter? Yeah, what does it matter now at this point?
Do you think it'll be a long one or a short one?
Well, I mean, I don't know how long he can go on his own, but okay. I mean, hey, I guess good on him, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, he's going to get out there and say the things, and it'll be fascinating to see what he says because, look, obviously, I don't think many people outside of, maybe some true believers expected, one, that Trump was going to win period, some people, myself included, and also the fashion in which he did because he's over 300 electoral votes at this point.
Yeah, he's up to 312.
So you and I were talking before the program, and you had just a wonderful rant about kind of how sick you are of being told you're stupid.
Well, my question is, how much education do I need? Does a high school diploma count? An associate's degree? Do I need a bachelor's or perhaps even a master's? Do I have to go all the way up and to get my PhD? Because last night I was repeatedly told over and over on the internet by certain people that I am an uneducated white woman. Yeah, so I'm just wondering, and everything in the world is my fault. So I'm just wondering, how much education do I need before I'm considered educated?
Well, it is fascinating because, and by the way, I'm still searching. I don't know what the final number is going to be, 16 million or what it's going to be, but I'm still searching for where that between 16 and 18 million
Where'd they go?
Voters.
We haven't found them.
Is this an episode of Lost?
Yeah.
Where are these people at? And we know what's fascinating is this is starting to get asked more and more, certainly on the right and in talk radio world, and there is no answer from the left. You have not heard an answer yet of, you conspiracy theorists. I find that fascinating that we are now 2 days into this where people like us are saying, hey, if you can tell us where these people, I mean, are they on a deserted island somewhere? How did these people just disappear? Because all we were told was turnout. Mm-hmm. And then you say, okay, well, if this was indeed an epic level of turnout, which I've no reason to doubt that indeed that it was. I mean, you look at the total number of people voting and it blew previous numbers out of the water. Where did all of these people go who voted in 2020 who did not vote in 2024?
Maybe they're at a secret school getting more educated.
All right, so like here's an example of what we're, let's see if I can pull this up here quickly. I don't know. Anyway, there it is. Okay, so to give you an example of what we're talking about here. In 2004, John Kerry got 59 million votes. In 2008, Obama, which was the gangbusters year, right? Like we've never seen anything like Obama before. Nobody's ever been more excited than Obama before. 69.5 million voters for Obama in 2008. 2012, that went down to 65.9. Then almost identical number for Clinton in 2016. Mm-hmm. So that's sort of your base of the Democrat Party, right? That becomes, we're now seeing a trend over 4 years. Obama's the establishment Democrat. He gets 65.9. Clinton's the establishment Democrat. She gets 65.9. Then it boosts up in 2020 to 81.3 million for Joe Biden. Mm-hmm. That is an increase. And again, you can't say it's, well, people didn't like Hillary because she got the same as Obama did in 2012 when we were told everybody loved Obama. What is that? That's almost a 16 million vote increase. And then this year, Casey, right now it comes, it goes, but as of yesterday, it was 66.4 million. Let's say she gets to 68 million. Mm-hmm. She's not going to, but let's say she gets to 68 million. That's still a 13 million vote difference. Like, one of these things is not like the others. And now you're starting to think, okay, there is more and more credence to what people have been saying about these double votes that were cast. I mean, come on.
Where did they go?
And the fact that the left is not offering any explanation to this, like, oh, you silly goose, here's where these people went.
Maybe that's what Biden's going to talk about today. He's going to tell you where those votes were, right? Next in the garage, next to the Corvette, perhaps.
Yeah. Okay, so let's come back to this, though, that you're right. So part of this is that's frustrating is, and my wife loves the Reddit. I don't know how any of that works. That's a website, right, where crazy people just lament, have somehow found each other and just scream at each other. And she said, well, this Reddit is super liberal, like for the most part. There are some conservatives on there, but by and large it is super liberal. And she was reading me some of the things these people were saying. And you're right, it is, oh, you stupid hilljacks, you idiots, you this, you that. And it's like, wait a second. We're told these are the same people who voted for Biden and previously Obama. So what, do they just get stupid in 2016 and 2024? And then they got smart in 2020 and then they got stupid again? Like, this is what I'm saying. People made a choice in this election, and it was overwhelming. It's not even close. He's going to win the popular vote running away. That they were not happy with the direction of the country. And what were the things that people were not happy about? Well, clearly it's things like the border, illegal immigration, and don't underscore legal immigration too. The idea that we are taking all these people with these TPS statuses, we're throwing them into these communities, and they are dramatically changing the makeup and structure of the communities, and then the excuse is, well, they're here legally, but they're not citizens of this country, right? So people were very upset about that. You obviously have the economy and the price of everything, and those were the two primary drivers. Some people voting on the foreign policy, which was also a disaster. There was no part of American life where you could look at it and go, hey, this is better for the average person than it was 4 years ago. And I'm sorry, the only answer, the only bullet the Democrats had in the chamber was this abortion topic. But the polling shows that if you make people vote on like these constitutional amendments or whatever, they're going to vote for it, but they don't care about it. They're not. If you give it to them, they will vote a certain way, but it's not an issue that drives people in terms of the electorate. It's not an issue that drives people in terms of, I'm just going to vote on this. And you saw Jennifer McCormick do it here. Destiny Wells did it here. The Democrats did it nationally. They put all of their eggs in this basket, and it just didn't drive people in terms of voting.
The dude and I were talking about the past 4 years and just what a disaster the Biden-Harris administration has been. And it is from top to bottom, from day one, practically, when you're starting with the botched withdrawal from Afghanistan. I mean, just everything. And you've got the inflation that was supposedly transitory, right? Let's talk about the lockdowns and the social distancing and the forced mandated vaccines. Oh, the cocaine in the White House. How about the televised red carpet January 6th nonsense that we all went through? Just everything. It was just nonstop. And of course, the economy and the border. It was just coming at us. The men and women's sports, there's a laundry in
list
the bathroom,
of stuff.
just everything nonstop. And I think so many people were just done with the ridiculous.
Well, and being told they're awful, right? Like there's a whole bunch of people who were saying, okay, I don't necessarily like Trump, and I'm going to bet if you look at the voting again, it's going to be very similar to 2016 in the sense that there are going to be a whole bunch of people who voted for Trump who don't like Trump, but they just said we cannot continue the condition of the country. It's unsustainable that people are struggling to afford rent, they're struggling to afford food, and instead of having an honest conversation, which is what Kamala Harris should have done. Look, if I were Kamala Harris and I'm the nominee, as soon as I become the nominee, I'd say, look, there are a bunch of things that aren't working in this country, and we got to have an honest conversation with the American people, and we love Uncle Joe, but there's a lot of things that have been done wrong. Now, we cannot turn the country over to Donald Trump. He blew it once before. Look at how he handled COVID. Look at how he divided the country. We all know, like, you got to have that reasonable conversation, which is, we all know we can't give it to this guy, but let's talk about where we're failing and how we make it better.
She didn't do that, though.
No, she went on The View and said, I wouldn't change anything. And so people were saying at that point, okay, well, we don't like Biden. We thought you might be different. You're telling us you wouldn't do anything different. So even though we don't like Trump and the personality or whatever, we can't sustain this. We cannot sustain the price of everything, the food, the gas, the housing is certainly a big thing. And so the Democrats would be wise to, in their post-mortem of this election, have an honest conversation with themselves about why they lost, about why people who had previously voted for Biden were driven over to Trump. Also find me that 16 to 18 million votes. Those people are missing somewhere. They should all be on milk cartons. I have no idea what happened with that. But they won't do that. And it's the same reason Democrats in Indiana lose the way they lose every year, because they don't want to have an honest conversation. If Jennifer McCormick had come out, and by the way, we're going to have Braun on at 9:30, right?
Yeah.
We got to give Braun huge credit, because I saw yesterday in the Capitol Chronicle, he had a big press rigmarole or whatever, and he said Senate Bill 1 needs to be property taxes. So for all those people who are like, oh, Braun's not serious about that, Rob, you're being played, you're this, you're that, right out of the gate, he has said Senate Bill 1 needs to be property tax reform. So good on that he is coming out, no waffling on that, and we're, like I said, we're here to help. But the same with the Democrats. If Jennifer McCormick had come out and said, hey, these social things we're not going to agree on, but there's a Republican legislature and they ain't moving on that, so we're done. I'm putting these on the shelf. You're not going to hear the word abortion from me. You're not going to hear trans this or trans that. Let's talk about property taxes.
Right.
And then everybody goes, okay.
You're serious.
Now you're playing offense against an area where the Republicans are vulnerable. Let's talk about the gas tax. Okay, now you have my attention. Instead, they just nationally and locally burrowed in on these topics that do not resonate with people to the polls. All right, I did want to, because I'm getting a bunch of people in the YouTube chat. Yes. Sadly, as many of you know, Bruce did pass away yesterday, and later on in the show, we're going to have a wonderful tribute to Bruce. So I want to say thank you to many of you who have loved him and cared about him, and we're going to contain our emotions to one segment, okay? We'll get it all out in one segment. That'll come up later on in the show.
It is Kendall and Casey. It's 93 WIBC.
120 years, a president elected to a non-consecutive term.
Grover Cleveland, hold my beer.
President-elect Donald J. Trump.
I want to thank the American people for the extraordinary honor of being elected your 47th president and your 45th president.
He did better almost everywhere.
History happens here.
Truly be the golden age of America.
93 WIBC.
It's not uncommon for us to meet with a new client, and the first thing they say is, we heard you on the radio.
How can a partnership with WIBC serve your business?
Hi, my name's Richard Michaelis. Our firm's Michaelis Corporation. We're general contractors, and we specialize in insurance restoration.
Brand awareness.
When our business needed to increase our brand awareness, we looked to Radio 1. Throughout the years, we learned their listeners have a large amount of trust when it comes to businesses that are recommended on air. The on-air talent that endorse Michaelis are real customers with real experiences.
Deliver your message to the audience that matters.
Working with Radio 1 has created brand awareness for Michaelis Corporation.
Take your advertising to the next level. Text business to 71007 now.
We've enjoyed our partnership with Radio 1. We look forward to continuing for many years to come.
Get results with WIBC.
Hey, can you blow up some balloons for Jack's party?
I can't. I'm so congested.
You need Sinex Saline from Vicks.
Sinex Saline Nasal Spray?
Yeah, just Sinex. Breathe.
Sinex Saline instantly clears everyday congestion associated with colds and year-round allergies with a gentle, ultra-fine mist that's no mess and easy to control.
Daddy, we need more balloons.
On it.
Enjoy life's important moments without congestion. Try Sinex Saline from Vicks. Just Sinex. Breathe. Use as directed.
Hey, this is Spencer Thompson at Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus. For the last 97 years, we've offered Central Indiana the best mattresses at the best price with free delivery and interest-free financing. Now through Monday, save up to $800 on Tempur-Pedic, Stearns & Foster, and Nectar mattresses, plus queen mattresses start at $399. The Back to Sleep sale is going on now through Monday only at Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus.
Joyner Homes has been building truly custom homes in Central Indiana for 18 years. They can build anywhere that you can bring a builder or on your own private lot. They make it easy to build your dream home with an in-house team of architecture and design specialists. First step, visit joynerhomes.com. Check out floor plans, pricing, locations. You can even start from scratch. The design studio is where you pick out all the fun stuff, all the coolest stuff in one spot. And they're with you every step to ensure you stay on budget. That's joynerhomes.com.
Jesus,
That name invokes a response. Some love him, some are unsure about him, some are indifferent to him, and some hate him. Wherever you land, join us at Life Church as we journey through the book of John to discover who Jesus actually is. You can go to lifechurchin.com for campus locations and service times. And whatever you think you may know about Jesus, we promise you there's more.
Hey guys, it's Rob Kendall. Give back November 21st at Hi-Fi. Get tickets to a celebrity bartender toast to Moselle Sanders, powered by Jack Daniels. A night of community, Jack Daniels cocktails, and fighting food insecurity. Sample signature cocktails crafted by celebrity bartenders, all working to help raise $10,000 to feed 10,000 people this Thanksgiving through the Moselle Sanders Foundation. Tickets start at $20, with all proceeds benefiting Moselle Sanders Foundation's mission to support families in need. Get tickets at hifiindy.com.
Have you compared your options during Medicare open enrollment? This year, it's important to compare and make sure your drugs are covered. Open enrollment ends December 7th. Visit Medicare.gov. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
B&W HVAC Plumbing and Electrical is here to make the fall cozy, comfortable, and hassle-free. Go to bplusw.com/radio to schedule your appointment today. B&W is your independent American Standard Air dealer.
Kamala Harris urged unity in her concession speech, which she held at Howard University following her defeat to Donald Trump. And lots of foreign leaders, including Joe Biden, have congratulated Donald Trump. And, of course, many Democrats feeling downtrodden today and yesterday. Here is Kamala Harris conceding. It's number one, Kylie.
And experiencing a range of emotions right now. I get it. But we must accept the results of this election. Earlier today, I spoke with President-elect Trump and congratulated him on his victory. I also told him that we will help him and his team with their transition, and that we will engage in a peaceful transfer of power. A fundamental principle of American democracy is that when we lose an election, we accept the results. That principle, as much as any other, distinguishes democracy from monarchy or tyranny. And anyone who seeks the public trust must honor it. At the same time, in our nation, we owe loyalty not to a president or a party, but to the Constitution of the United States.
She did get that part right, that it's about protecting the Constitution. That's what many people say when they are, agents who protect our leaders.
Yeah, but I'm not getting off this until somebody gives me an answer, and I may be here for the next 4 years talking about this. But January 6th was about what we now know to be 16 million to 18 million votes that disappeared, okay? Everybody knew in the aftermath, in the days following the election, something is not right here, both on the amount of people who voted, which there was no explanation for, and the way the votes were accepted and tabulated. So you change everything about our system, right, with strokes of pens from secretaries of state and governors. It happened here. This is not an indictment of just the Democrats. It's an indictment of everyone. And you have state legislatures, like in Pennsylvania, saying, please do not certify this election. This is not right. These people did not follow our laws. And people are looking at this going, you shut us down for a year. You locked us in our homes. You took away our jobs. You took away our businesses. You did nothing while cities were burned to the ground all across this country. And then we go and vote. And magically, after we changed all the rules, there's unprecedented things happening here. And we are viewed as lunatics and radicals for saying, wait a second, this doesn't make any sense. Now, should those people who willfully broke the law have done that? No. Should they be punished? Yes. However, there's a whole bunch of people who were convicted of stuff because security guards were like, please come on in. There's video of it. There's video of these security guards telling people it's like a tour at the Capitol. Please come on in. Should those people have federal arrest records now? And by the way, them being pissed off looks more and more like they were right because there's 16 to 18 million votes, depending on what the final total is, that are unaccounted for.
That are just missing in action.
So wait, just a second, because for her to act, she's giving this speech trying to act as though she's on some moral high horse here, as though she and them are some way better than the rest of it. They tried to kill Trump twice, Casey.
Yeah. Many people are noticing the similarities between her speech and the speech that Hillary Clinton gave. They're ironically almost identical. Here's the thing. Her tone during that speech was much different, almost like she was relieved in a way. It seemed the most genuine that she had been throughout this entire process when she said, "I'm the loser."
Well, she may not have really wanted it. I mean, I think people want to be president, but maybe there comes a point, and there's also internals, right? So for example, who was the one person, despite all the huffing and puffing from the media, who was like, this race for governor is not close, right? I'm telling you, I've seen the honest polling.
Would that be you?
I mean, that would be me, right?
Okay.
I mean, I am friends with old Uncle Fester's friends with the Republicans now, right? Cousin Eddie here has seen enough of the internal polling to know, because internals are where you're getting the data you need how you run your campaigns. And I'm like, I know enough about the internals to know they can whatever they want. They haven't produced anything different, and I've seen the real polling, and I know. She saw the real polling too. You can put on a brave face and go out there and whatever you want, and you can look it out. The internals are where the bread is buttered, because that's how you run the campaign. She probably knew a week out.
Mm-hmm.
Trump said it at that final rally. He's like, it's over. We've won.
Yeah.
I don't even know why I'm here. I mean, so she probably knew.
And something else that is not being talked about enough is that she won every single state that doesn't require voter ID.
Yeah.
And didn't win a single state that does require it.
How about that? All right, we got to take a break. When Braun's going to join us next, we got to give him big credit. He came out yesterday, said property taxes, agenda item 1.
He's up next on 93 WIBC.
Pat Sullivan here, and the holidays are right around the corner, which means all the food prep in your home and then scraps and leftovers thrown right down the garbage disposal. Don't let a clogged kitchen sink ruin your holiday spirit. Consider upgrading your garbage disposal before it's too late. Call my friends at Hope Plumbing today for a premium garbage disposal and get $100 off. Leave the dirty work to Hope Plumbing. Visit hopeplumbing.com for all their holiday specials today.
Do you owe the IRS $10,000 or more in back taxes? Are you being audited or investigated? Has the IRS sent you a letter demanding payment? You may not owe what they claim. Make this free call to the tax doctor now. Let them negotiate with the IRS on your behalf. Call 800-631-9123. 800-631-9123. That's 800-631-9123.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Putting together his team again. Radar is clear, 50 degrees and sunny downtown. I'm Kirk Darling. Here's what's trending at 9:30. Now that Donald Trump has been reelected as U.S. president, who will fill his cabinet in his new administration?
President-elect Donald Trump is already in the process of meeting with his transition team. He's strategizing about how he will fill his next administration. Some of the names being floated for top cabinet positions are Ben Carson, who could be back for another term as Secretary of Housing and Urban Development. Some of Trump's former GOP primary opponents, who have since turned into allies, are also in the mix, including North Dakota Governor Doug Burgum, who's been mentioned as a potential secretary for Interior or Energy.
Fox's Brooks Singman. President Biden will address the nation from the White House later this morning. He called Trump to congratulate him on the victory and to ensure there would be a smooth transition of power. The Federal Reserve wraps up a 2-day meeting today with a highly anticipated announcement on interest rates. Most analysts predict the central bank will be cutting rates by about a quarter point. And on that note, your opening bell report on 93 WIBC, brought to you by Absolute Wealth Management, LLC. Ahead of that second day of the Fed meeting, stocks are climbing today. The Dow was up 22 to 43,923. The NASDAQ up 116 to 21,010. And the S&P 500 is up 18 to 5,976. I'm Kirk Darling, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Have you heard the saying, cash is king? This is true most of the time, but it's not when you're retired.
Hey, this is Rob.
And this is Casey.
When you're retired, cash is not king. Income is king.
Discover how you could turn your savings into a guaranteed stream of income in retirement with Bill Demery, your retirement guy in Indy. We trust Bill to help us with planning for our retirement, and you can too.
If you've saved more than $200,000, call Bill right now at 317-932-9912.
Social Security alone won't be enough to pay for your retirement. You need to create other sources of income that you can count on for the rest of your life.
Call Bill Demery now at 317-932-9912. That's 317-932-9912. Bill Demery, your retirement guy right here in Indy at 317-932-9912.
Get in gear with fall savings at Tom Roush Lincoln. Get a brand new 2024 Navigator. Get an incredible $10,000 off plus 0% for 60 months. Or get $7,000 off select new 2024 Lincoln Aviators plus 0% for 60 months. So get some of those fall savings at Tom Roush Lincoln in Fishers.
Qualified buyers with approved credit. Not all buyers will qualify. Taxes and dealer fees extra. Stock number L24412. MSRP 104,200. Stock number L24208. MSRP 75,300. See dealer for complete details.
Healthcare.gov has plans for health because you have plans for life. All plans cover doctor visits and emergency care to keep you and your family running strong. All plans cover hospital stays and prescriptions so you can have peace of mind. Visit healthcare.gov to explore health plans from the brands you know. 4 out of 5 customers can find a health plan for $10 or less per month with financial help. Enroll at healthcare.gov by December 15th for coverage starting January 1st. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Attention. If you suffer from consistent pain in your joints caused by arthritis, overuse, or injury, you may be a candidate for a revolutionary therapy that could revitalize damaged tissue. This approach can provide long-lasting relief from pain in your knees, shoulders, hips, and other joints with no surgery, no drugs, and no downtime. To find out if you're a viable candidate, you may request a free consultation from QC Kinetics by calling 463-251-1912. Instead of masking the symptoms, it goes to the root of the problem to resolve it at its source. Already used by thousands of satisfied patients nationwide, this joint pain therapy is available right now to the public, but only for qualified candidates. Again, to find out if you're a viable candidate for this therapy, you may request a free consultation by calling QC Kinetics at 463-251-1912. That's 463-251-1912.
You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC.
Well, good morning. It is the Kendall and Casey Show. It's 93 WIBC, and on the WIBC hotline, we have Governor-elect Mike Braun joining us. Good morning and congratulations, Governor-elect.
Well, hey, good morning. After nearly 2 years of announcing to closing it out Tuesday evening, it's good to hear those words. And gosh, it was such a journey. It was a feisty primary, obviously, and I think we ran on the kitchen table issues, talked about property taxes. We've done that a lot. That was out there everywhere over the last year or two, and I think that it resonated. I don't know if you call it a mandate, but you call it a real statement when everybody was touting it as close, and ended up being a 13-14% margin. So had a great team. I think we had a great message and got it across, and met with the 2 caucuses in the Republican-dominated legislature. And I think that there's a real platter of opportunity with an active executive suite working with a legislature that we ought to get some real things done. And I'm looking forward to that challenge.
Yeah, let's talk about it. I read the article yesterday in the Capitol Chronicle, and it's interesting. Throughout the course of the election, people kept telling me, oh, you can't believe in Braun. He's not going to stay with property tax. He'll get elected. He'll get off it. You said yesterday, property tax reform, your bill, which resets those rates to 2021, caps the growth, changes the referendum process. You said that should be Senate Bill 1.
Exactly. And I said it should be House Bill 1, too. So 1001, I think, in the House of Parlance. But anyway, yes, that is something that there are a few legislatures that already got legislators that got their own template on it. So that subject's not going away. I think it resonated when you elevated it out there as the most practical thing that we got to fix out of the gate.
So you met yesterday with the President Pro Tem Rod Bray and also the Speaker Todd Houston. How did that go, and what did you guys discuss?
So I actually spoke in front of the Senate caucus, and it went really well. We had time for Q&A, and then I mingled with the entire group, the caucus I used to be in prior to their meeting. So talked to probably at least half of the caucus individually. So on the House side, it's going to go well. I think there's been, for whatever the reason, a lack of interaction between the governor's office and the legislature. That's going to get turned on its head and be the opposite. So I hope to wear them out with ideas that are good coming from them, the agenda that we want to bring to them, and make sure that with this supermajority that we do some things that fix the real issues in this state. And that's going to be my singular mission. And out of the gate, I'm going to go through every agency to make sure they're functioning properly, leanly, efficiently, so that the way Hoosiers interface with our state government, that gets stale over time. And I've heard a lot of folks from grassroots individuals to people within the agencies and from legislators that we need to do some fine-tuning there.
Yeah, that's a big deal. Mike Braun's our guest. You talk about this, and this is one of the things I kept trying to tell people. I said, this is not a sexy issue, but something you'll be really good at as a business owner is finding inefficiencies, getting rid of them, because every dollar you find is a dollar that can go to offset some other program or tax cut or whatever. If you find $1 or $2 billion, that's a lot of money that can go back into the pockets of people through other programs.
And when you got the dynamic of where, remember, we don't compete for our revenues. You need to be simply smart enough not to spend more than you take in, and that's been pretty structural. Then what do you do with it? And I can tell you in a $22 billion organization annually, 5% savings, hell, that's $1 billion. And that can go right back to taxpayers if you don't have a good ROI on something that makes sense. And we've grown government over the last couple, 3 years, faster than the growth of the economy. That's never a good sign. Government should always be throttled back to being at or below the growth of the real economy. Otherwise, you're growing government at the expense of it.
Yeah, and I think Mike Braun's our guest. I think one of the things I kept trying to tell people is look at what a uniter Braun is. He's got, heck, Rob Kendall is invited back into Republican Party functions now. I mean, gold star for you. But I do think it is important when we talk about how much you won by. I mean, it's double digits. You did that with a strong, at least by previous standards, libertarian running in Donald Rainwater, and you were able to bring back a big portion, well over 50% of those conservatives who went to Rainwater in 2020. I think your sales point has got to be, look, I'm uniting the Republican Party. You guys in the legislature could have Rob off your backside for the next 4 years. Just pass the property tax reform plan and be done with it.
No doubt about it. And I think, the way the lieutenant governor's race turned out, Micah Beckwith has been integral in bringing on that part of the party that I feel has been neglected. I mean, I've always been out there listening. I go to the grassroots stuff. And there has been, to me, a kind of a deaf ear for the things that drive the principles of our party. And I think, this could be the first time in a long time that we've got one end of the party to the other that's headed in the right direction. And that's an accomplishment in and of itself.
Governor-elect Mike Braun joining us, and I know you like to move quickly, and you had mentioned that you expect agency leadership announcements to start soon. How soon? How quickly do we get moving on things?
So we had a transition team put in place informally. I'm a big believer in not putting the cart before the horse. The whole transition part of it is going to be a lot easier for someone like me that's been part of running a large, sprawling organization, maybe less easy for folks that have not signed the front side of a paycheck, which is typical of most governors. So we are ready to go. We're going to sort through it to get plenty of input not only from legislators, the people that get regulated by these agencies, from the private sector, and from within the agencies themselves. And we are not going to rush through it, but we're going to be methodical at it. And we want to see which ones are doing well, which ones need some minor tune-up, which ones need an overhaul. The ones that need an overhaul probably going to take a little more time. But to me, that'll be one of the easier parts of the job that many administrations might struggle with. And we are going to hit the ground running because we were set up to do it. I just wanted to jump the hurdle first with authority. It makes that job easier as well.
Yes, during your victory speech, you had acknowledged your wife, Maureen, and gave her credit. And I'm going to give you an opportunity to brag on her, because I do find it nice when successful men often give credit to their spouse who helped them along the way. And it was reported that she was meeting with Janet Holcomb to kind of go over, First Lady responsibilities. So the platform is yours to brag on your wife for a moment.
Well, I can remember many years ago when we got married at that big wedding in our small town, and I kept hearing everyone tell me how lucky I was. Then I started to try to lean over to see if she was getting the same thing, and I didn't hear that very often. And I asked her later that evening, how many people told you, dear, that you were lucky? She very nicely said a few. That is what I ended up getting in a life partner. Of course, we went to grade school together, high school. She went to IU, I went to Wabash. We made it through all of that. And then the biggest decision we made jointly was moving back to our hometown. And you know what the two reasons were? Raise a family. She wanted her own business right out of the gate. So she started entrepreneurially with her own business as her only job for all these years since we did that in the late 70s. That's what I'm blessed with. And 4 kids, American dream, 3 of them run the business I ran for 37 years. She's been with me all along the way.
All right, we'll get you out of here with this. And now that we're buddies, Mike, you'll find I do things just to make people uncomfortable. And I know he'll be mortified by having his name mentioned on these very fabulous airwaves. But one of the guys who's been with you for a long time and I think did a really nice job this year running your campaign, especially in the wake of Micah winning and then kind of dealing with me and getting everybody united, is the guy who's run the show for you a long time, both in your office and then on the campaign, Josh Kelly. And I thought he did a great job. I mean, he had to deal with me nonstop when you guys were putting out the property tax plan. Maybe you could just talk about him a little bit and, kind of how he's been with you for a long time and how he helped put together this easily bigly winning campaign.
Well, I met Josh right out of the gate when I was looking at running for state rep. So that would take us back nearly 10 years plus, probably in late 13. And he has been involved in Indiana politics. He and the business partner ran a lot of the House races. And I would say that he is, with that experience, that youthful exuberation that he brings to it as well, the smartest guy in Indiana politics. And he and his team, Jason Johnson, who's run our constituent services, excellent job. Other individuals like Josh Waddell, a host of many others. Thankful to have him. He'll be my chief of staff. He's heading the transition team. And when you have a steady hand like him that's been around, even though he's, I think, in his late 30s, that's amazing. And when you've got that kind of energy and knowledge working with you, it is an immense benefit. And it's rough on the competition, I can tell you that.
Yeah, I just thought he was so great, especially with the property tax thing. And he and I spent a lot of time on the phone together, and I gave him a lot of 4-letter words, and he was just very calm. He's like, okay, we'll come back with something else. And you guys ended up with a great property tax plan. I think it's going to help a lot of people if they pass it as is with those property tax rate resets and capping the growth. And I just wanted to mention him, Mike, because I think he deserves a lot of credit for kind of bringing everybody together and getting everybody on the same page.
I'm glad you did it. And he also put together an amazing team in D.C., snagged the best legislative director. And when I talk about the record there, which was always surprising, then you didn't get more kind of believability from the folks that wondered what you were going to do when you come back. But he put together that team that got us the accolades of being the best freshman Senate office and passing more legislation in areas like healthcare, education, and agriculture than even the veterans on the Republican side. And I can give him credit for that as well.
Well, we appreciate your time, Governor-elect Mike Braun, and we'll be talking soon.
Thanks. Always fun to be on your show, and we're going to do it often, okay?
Thank you. It is Kendall and Casey. It's 93 WIBC.
Hammer and Nigel show 306 is when we crack the mic. Closing arguments in the Delphi case. More election fallout. Rob Kendall off the rails. 93 WIBC.
Looking for a great place to go for car care? Hi, this is Lonnie Hinkle from Jiffy Lube, and I'd like to share the top 5 reasons that every Hoosier should trust Jiffy Lube to help keep their car running safe and well. Number 5, our computer system holds the maintenance data for every make and model. We know exactly what your car needs and when it needs to be done. Number 4, Jiffy Lube's training system is in the Training Magazine Hall of Fame. Along with companies like Ritz-Carlton, Starbucks, and Nordstrom's, our team does the job right. Number 3, you never need an appointment. We are ready to serve you whenever it works best for you, so come on in and see us. Number 2, Jiffy Lube accepts competitor coupons so you can get our great service at the desperate price of our competitors. And number 1, Jiffy Lube is a one-stop maintenance shop, and we make it easy for you to take great care of your car. Avoid the repair shop by getting your maintenance done at Jiffy Lube. And we now offer brakes, tires, tune-ups, and minor repairs at most stores.
So head to Jiffy Lube. There's really no reason to take your car anywhere else.
Hey, it's Rob. If you want to grow your hair back, check out the precision and accuracy of the Artist Robotic FUE at We Grow Hair Indy. You'll be amazed at the permanent natural results you can get and get back to work ASAP. Darren Andrews, Clinic Director of We Grow Hair Indy, is here to tell us more.
The Artist Robotic FUE hair transplant at We Grow Hair Indy, one of the most sophisticated hair transplant procedures available. The accuracy and the precision of the Artist Robotic FUE is what clients love the most. Get the results you want with our Artist FUE or multi-unit hair grafting procedure.
Don't wait. Call today and find out more about the Artist Robotic FUE at WeGrowHairIndy.com. Call 317-522-2995 for your hair evaluation. 317-522-2995 or go to WeGrowHairIndy.com. and grow your hair back today.
Okay, we are running a car drive right now to help veterans all across America. So if you have an old car, truck, or van, even a motorcycle or an RV sitting around, you can right now give it away and help the vets. They really need your help. And your car will help support the vets and their families. And guess what? You even get a tax donation. Plus, we'll even come and pick up your car for free. And all you've got to do is pick up your phone right now and make a free call. Now is the perfect time to do something good for the vets. Give back to the vets right now for all they've done for this country. And your old car can really help them. So call the Veterans Car Donation Program right now for free pickup of your vehicle. Help the vets and help your taxes at the same time. Call right now.
800-883-3024. 800-883-3024. 800-883-3024. That's 800-883-3024.
Febreze. As a rideshare driver, I love keeping my car smelling fresh and clean. So when I'm driving, I only trust Febreze car vent clips, featuring 3 distinct intensity settings, because it's that little touch that sets me apart. I can turn the intensity down for subtle freshness, or I can turn it up for when I want lots of scent. So whether it's set to low, medium, or high, with Febreze car, I know my car's going to smell amazing. Which keeps my driver rating right where it belongs. Picking up, Oscar!
Check out what's going on with 93 WIBC.
Join Tony Katz and Fingers Malloy for a live Eat, Drink, Smoke show at Nikki Blaine's Cocktail Lounge on Saturday, November 9th from 4 to 6 p.m., courtesy of Hotel Tango Distillery.
More info online at WIBC.com.
Parents, teachers, school board members, do you want your school to experience the richness of academic freedom or the constraints of a one-size-fits-all federal mandate called Common Core Standards? Advocates for academic freedom is for educational excellence and local control of your school. Come join the fight for your children's education. You can contact us at advocatesforacademicfreedom.org or call 1-715-234-5072.
So let's talk about something fun. Can we? Can we? Something fun? So Donald Trump will be president during the Olympics that will be in Los Angeles. And also something that he's been talking about is America's 250th birthday party. He says that America's tourist industry should get ready because we're going to have a lot of people coming and it will be a record year.
You know what's interesting is the tone of the Trump campaign, especially towards the end, almost had a Morning Again in America type of feel.
Very much so.
To it. And for those who are seasoned enough, I know you were like 3 in 1984, but for those who were seasoned enough, you will remember it wasn't even that the country was doing all that great in 1984. There were still issues with inflation. Things were still struggling. But you had a sense of, especially as that campaign took hold, I mean, we think of the 80s as like this roaring time, right? Like, oh my gosh, it was great. No, it was really bleak in the first part of the 1980s. And right about the time that campaign in earnest began, there was a sense of optimism in this country. Reagan put that forward. And it's just like your mood, right? So much your state of mind and your health is based on your state of mind and your mood and what you put yourself in. And Reagan, you know, it's like, I'm here today. I see people in the YouTube chat, and God bless you. You know, people are like, I wouldn't even be able to come to work today after your best friend has passed away. Well, but Bruce would want me to be here today. It's a state of mind, right? If I sit around and mope all day, that one wouldn't be what he wants. But two, it's your state of mind. It's your frame of mind. Do things that make you happy. Put yourself in a position to succeed. And by the way, we'll have a great tribute to Bruce coming up later on in the show. But the point is, with Reagan, he had the country believing again. It was just the idea of if you keep saying something, if you keep, hey, we're turning a corner. And so by midway through 1984, people were believing the best days were ahead of us. They were, right? It was a great window of really unmatched prosperity until the stock market, you know, had the issue in 1987, but they bounced back off of that. And so Trump's campaign, all this to be said, Trump's campaign now has that feel of, hey, it's going to be morning again in America. We're going to get past all this crap that happened with COVID and the riots and everything else, and it's a new day for this country.
Yep, he proposes a year of festivities to celebrate the 250th anniversary of the United States.
I will convene a White House task force called Salute to America 250. It will be responsible for coordinating with state and local governments to ensure not just one day of celebration, but an entire year of festivities across the nation, starting on Memorial Day 2025 and continuing through July 4th, 2026.
So he said he's going to work with 50 state governors to create a year-long Great American State Fair with pavilions. He's also said that he'll reissue an executive order on his first day to create a National Garden of American Heroes, which consists of 100 statues. And it sounds like a lot of fun. I was around for the bicentennial in 76, and it was everywhere.
We're 1 year old. But I love the idea of being an American meaning something. And I think we have seen this stripped away, and it's been a gradual thing, but certainly like 2020 and beyond of like all you hear is this country sucks and it's awful. And the people, look, we are still the shining city upon the hill, right? We are still the beacon of hope and freedom for the rest of the world. We are the greatest idea ever conceived by man. And I love the idea that Trump is going to be re-ingraining that in people, like patriotism. Not to say you don't question your government. Certainly you do. But it's the idea of being an American is special. This country is special. We are blessed by God. We're the greatest idea ever conceived by man. The idea that you had all these incredible people in one position together at the same time around a common cause to create this country. It's the big bang of, you know, American politics. And in this case, God said, bang, it happened. Right? And I love the fact that Trump is like, America's back. Let's go. Let's be proud to be Americans again. Let's make this country awesome.
It is Kendall Casey. It's 93 WIBC. Good morning.
Discover cancer care that empowers you at Community Health Network MD Anderson Cancer Center. Our multidisciplinary care team will guide you every step along the way.
It was very overwhelming at first, but I found this whole community of people who are understanding and just very supportive. So I have a lot of thankfulness and gratefulness for who I am through this and after this.
Learn more at ecommunity.com/cancer.
Joyner Homes. They've built hundreds of homes across central Indiana and has a streamlined, fully custom home build process with an in-house team of architectural and design specialists. So you can focus on the fun stuff like cabinets and flooring and paint colors. They truly build unique, character-rich, smart design homes anywhere that you can bring a builder or on your own private lot. Check out their pricing online at joynerhomes.com. That's where you can also see some of the homes they've built. That's joynerhomes.com.
Guys, we're notorious for putting things off. But when it comes to plumbing problems, you don't have to live that way. If you're tired of taking showers with low water pressure or not enough hot water, you've got to stop putting it off and call Lance and the local team at LD Smith Plumbing and ask about water heater specials. These are the guys I trust in my house and in my friends' houses and my relatives' houses, and they're the licensed plumbers you want in your house too. LDSmithPlumbing.com. That's LDSmithPlumbing.com.
A true partner in your health dedicates time to understanding your needs. At CenterWell Senior Primary Care, doctors make one-on-one time with you a priority so you can get all your questions answered and feel more confident in your health care. See how it feels to have a team of senior care experts working together to help you feel your best. CenterWell, it's about time. Schedule a tour today at meetcenterwell.com. That's meetcenterwell.com.
At Uline, the prevailing opinion is, if you don't live it, you don't believe it. The people at Uline believe in hard work, and they live it by being there 24/7 to answer your call, having 41,000 items in stock, and offering same-day shipping from 12 locations across North America. Business owners, sellers, buyers, shippers, and packers believe it. Uline is the hard-working, dependable source for your shipping and industrial supplies. Visit uline.com.
Our nation's economic problems have been building for the past 50 years, and they're not going away overnight. Dr. Ron Paul here, and this is why I recommend diversifying your IRA or 401k into gold, a proven bedrock in any economy, with my friends at Birch Gold Group. To learn more, get a free info kit on gold. Text the word SHELTER to 989898. That's SHELTER to 989898.
Message and data rates may apply.
Everyone knows that hoops hit harder in Indiana.
Turner
pounds it down. Be there when the Pacers and Knicks square off in a hard-hitting playoff rematch this Sunday.
Halliburton on the move, bouncing it into the lane. You will not see a better pick and roll than that. Turner dunks it with the right hand.
It's an Eastern Conference rivalry that's always a battle when your Pacers meet the New York Knicks. Be part of the fun Sunday at 5. Get your tickets at pacers.com/tickets. Pacers Knicks, Sunday at 5.
When you're high, you feel different. But if you feel different, you drive different. So don't drive high. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Coming up in 2 minutes, court is back in session as closing arguments go down in Carroll County. Plus, what Mike Braun says he'll do once he is sworn in as governor, and a good start to the season in college hoops for the Indiana Hoosiers. I'm Kurt Darling. That and more coming up from the Technology Recycler Studios after Fox News Radio. You're listening to 93 WIBC, WIBC HD1 Indianapolis. It's 10 o'clock.
President Biden will soon talk about what's next. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News, addressing the nation in an hour, the day after calling President-elect Trump to congratulate him and pledge a smooth transition at the White House.
The sentiment with that and everything else around here from Harris loyalists has shifted from Joe Biden's legacy as a selfless patriot is cemented because he stepped aside to let Harris beat Trump, to Joe Biden was so unpopular, his VP was doomed from the get-go.
Fox's Peter Doocy also reports the day after the vice president conceded defeat.
Kamala Harris can't just go off the grid because she is still the vice president for another 3 months. Her office today, though, is telling us she's going to have internal meetings and briefings with staff that are all closed press, so we do not expect to see her in the Rose Garden with President Biden.
Now, the Trump transition team is already on the move, planning the next administration. Fox's Bill Malugin reports from West Palm Beach, Florida.
These are some of the names being tossed around for some of the cabinet positions. For Chief of Staff, you're looking at maybe Susie Wiles or Brooke Rollins. For Secretary of Treasury, John Paulson, Scott Bessent. Secretary of State, Rick Grenell, Marco Rubio. Secretary of Defense, Senator Tom Cotton. More on him in a second. Other names being tossed out, Doug Burgum, Vivek Ramaswamy, Elon Musk, and then obviously RFK Jr.
Now, Senator Tom Cotton has turned down a job in the cabinet, taking his name out of consideration. Instead, the Republican wants a leadership role after the GOP won the Senate majority in the next Congress with 52 seats so far and leading in a race not called yet in Pennsylvania. A military commission judges restored controversial plea deals at Guantanamo for 3 9/11 terror suspects, overruling Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin, who had voided the agreements that take the death penalty out of consideration. Brett Eagleson leads the group 9/11 Justice and tells Fox.
We have members of our community that are dying. We have parents who lost their sons and daughters on 9/11 that have since died and have not seen justice.
America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
One last say. It's 50 degrees and sunny downtown. I'm Kirk Darling. Here's what's trending at 10:02. Prosecutors and defense attorneys in the Delphi murders trial are giving closing arguments this hour inside the Carroll County Courthouse. Yesterday, the defense rested its case as they tried to convince the jury that their client, Richard Allen, was innocent of the murders of Abby Williams and Libby German. Each side now gets 2.5 hours to make their closing arguments. Governor-elect Mike Braun says he plans to be as hands-on as possible in working with state lawmakers at the State House.
If it's not being led from the governor's office, what do you expect out of a legislature? They're going to be mostly on their own.
He says he and the legislature have a real opportunity to work together, especially since he says the Republicans are holding a supermajority. Shots fired as police officers were in a standoff that happened on the east side. Ryan Hedrick reports.
It was Wednesday when a woman told Indy Metro cops that she was being held at gunpoint by a man who was holed up in a home near Sherman Drive in East Washington Street. Police responded Wednesday night, but when they tried to enter the home, this man fired his weapon at police. SWAT team members and snipers were placed on nearby rooftops. It took the cops 7.5 hours to get this guy out. Fortunately, no police officers were injured. Ryan Hedrick, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
Someone bought a $500,000 winning Powerball play ticket in Indianapolis ahead of Monday's drawing. The ticket was bought at the My Gas Station 3 at West 16th and North Tibbs Avenue on the west side. The winning numbers 6, 18, 33, 48, and 53, with the winning Powerball at 21. The Indiana Hoosiers got a win in their season opener on the hardwood last night, 80-61 over SIU Edwardsville. Head coach Mike Woodson saying lots still left to be desired offensively.
We came out with great intentions, and then we just got stale from an offensive standpoint.
Mackenzie Mbako had 31 points. Eastern Illinois comes to Assembly Hall on Sunday. I'm Kirk Darling, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Get in gear with fall savings at Tom Roush Lincoln. Get a brand new 2024 Navigator. Get an incredible $10,000 off plus 0% for 60 months. Or get $7,000 off select new 2024 Lincoln Aviators plus 0% for 60 months. So get some of those fall savings at Tom Roush Lincoln in Fishers.
Qualified buyers with approved credit. Not all buyers will qualify. Taxes and dealer fees extra. Stock number L24412. MSRP 104200. Stock number L24208. MSRP 75300. See dealer for complete details.
As the leaves turn golden and the air grows crisp, there's something special brewing. Something that captures the very essence of fall. Introducing Pumpkin Something, a smooth, spice-filled bourbon infused with the perfect mixture of allspice, pumpkin, clove, cinnamon, and ginger. It's the taste of autumn in a glass, a sip of warmth on a cool evening. Crafted with care and precision at Hotel Tango Distillery. Known for its commitment to quality and innovation, this new blend promises a unique tasting experience that celebrates the essence of fall. Pumpkin Something from Hotel Tango Distillery is guaranteed to elevate any fall cocktail. Add it to your warm cider in the evening or to your fall lattes. You can do anything with Pumpkin Something from Hotel Tango Distillery. Available for a limited time only. Visit your local liquor store and bring home the taste of fall with Pumpkin Something from Hotel Tango Distillery, because autumn never tasted so good. Sip responsibly.
This hour on 93 WIBC is powered by B&W HVAC, Plumbing and Electrical, your American Standard air dealer.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
When we talk about sending money somewhere, we're talking about printing the money because we have no money.
And Casey Daniels.
My government would never lie to me, would they?
On 93 WIBC.
Good morning. It is Thursday, November 7th, 6 minutes after 10. You're listening to Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. Well, as we just heard in the newscast at the top of the hour, we're talking about transition teams and who actually will be in Donald Trump's cabinet. Of course, he has a couple colorful characters around him. Elon Musk, of course, who we'll talk about later in the show, but also Robert F. Kennedy Jr. And even in his victory speech, Donald Trump singled out Kennedy as the man who would help make America healthy again. Although Trump has been pretty vague about what sort of role he has in mind for Kennedy. Kennedy has claimed that he will take control of the public health agencies.
Okay, look, first of all, Elon Musk is not going to be a part of anything official because of the monetary impact.
Mm-hmm.
It would cost him hundreds of billions of dollars over 4 years to be in any part of his administration. Now, he may be an advisor, he may be an unofficial advisor, but there's all sorts of strings that come with working in the federal government or being a part of an administration, and Elon Musk is simply not going to do that, and he would be insane if he did that. So anybody who thinks Elon Musk is going to be in charge of this department or that department, it's not happening. Also, they're not having Ron Paul be in charge of anything. So just get those things out of your head.
Unofficial advisory role.
Right, absolutely, and that's fine. Now, Kennedy, some agency related to public health, absolutely. I'm sure he wouldn't do this, but, there's a couple of... I don't think he's going to give him control over anything. I don't think Trump is not going to be overshadowed by anyone, okay? And one of the things that's going to be very interesting are these cabinet picks, because Trump made a huge mistake last time when he tried to play nicey nice with the establishment, and he put all of those swamp people, Dan Coates and Mitch McConnell's wife, and all of these just ridiculous people who were working against him time and time and time again, and then certainly didn't have his back and were looking to throw him under the bus, and that bit him in the ass several times. And then on the other flip side, it was all these celebrity people that he knew, right? Like it's Omarosa or the Mooch or whatever. Trump has got to get the core right this time, and it is people that are interested in government reform. It is people that know how to get government reform done. Because one of the things I think outsiders, people who are outside the system, don't want to admit is you actually need people in your inner circle who know how the trains operate, right? They know how the trains run, right? How the system works. I had this conversation with Micah several times. I have a very, very good friend who is... a lot of people might consider more of an establishment type of person, but this is a very loyal person who is very good, who was a Micah supporter. And I had said, look, this person is outside of your traditional orbit, but I said, you need to have this person around you because you need someone who knows how the State House works. You need someone who knows how the government center works. It's a balancing act to find somebody who is that, but yet will be loyal to you. And that's what Trump's going to have to do. He's got to find people who are loyal to Trump, but you need people who know how the system works in order to reform the system.
So RFK Jr. told MSNBC that he intends to clear out the entire department of the FDA.
You say clearing out the corruption in your terms. Would that mean clearing out the top level federal service workers that are currently at the FDA and the CDC?
In some categories, I would say.
What does that look like? Yeah.
In some categories of workers, there are entire departments, like the nutrition departments at FDA, that have to go. That are not doing their job. They're not protecting our kids. Why do we have Fruit Loops in this country that have 18 or 19 ingredients, and you go to Canada and it's got 2 or 3?
Okay, so you have to figure out, like you mentioned, this balancing act here. So is Kennedy going to be stuck in the White House basement with just some meaningless title, or is he going to be at the heart of power? Is he going to have the presidency here? I think a lot of this is really going to depend on how much Donald Trump wants to hear from him.
Well, look, and this is going to sound weird coming from me, but as I get older and have more life experience, getting older is about balancing the ideals of your... I wrote this to my daughter not too long ago in her journal. I said, you'll find getting older is balancing the ideals of your youth with the realism of being an adult. And I said, it took me until about 38 years old to figure it out because I was so wed to the idealism of my youth, and this is how it ought to be. And if it's not like this, then we got to make it like this. And there is no middle ground on this, right? You know, there's a famous line in a song, what seemed black and white turns to so many shades of gray type of thing. And I think in government that you will find the idea of saying, I'm going to go in and do this and I'm going to do that and they're going to be out of there and that's great in the theoretical. The realism of it is, though, there are a bunch of things that need to be done that you can work within the system to not have complete mutiny on your hands. And the more people you can have, the reality of life is the more people you have in any sort of team sport running with their hand on the football to get the ball into the end zone, the better it's going to be. The federal government is too big and too massive and have too many people, bad actors in there, to just go in there and just overhaul everything. You gotta systematically do it. There major changes are needed, but I think you've got to. Here's a great example of this, Casey. The law of unintended consequences. When Roe was struck down, the Supreme Court was hearing a case called Dobbs, which was Mississippi. The state of Mississippi was saying, look, we now know new things about babies in the womb, in which the term fetal viability, which is how the abortion, the made-up constitutional right to abortion was judged, was fetal viability. So I think it was 20 weeks. So basically, in this country, every state had to abide by 20 weeks. Some were much more extreme, but even Indiana was 20 weeks. And the argument in front of Dobbs was, we now know, without a shadow of a doubt, people like me believe, look, I saw my baby at 8 weeks. I heard the heartbeat at 8 weeks. That seemed very viable to me, right? You know, like, that was a living, breathing human right there, right? Breathing in the sense of with the help from the mother, but had a heartbeat, etc. You get the idea what I'm saying. The Dobbs decision was moving that from 20 weeks to 15 weeks. And there was universal consent from the Supreme Court justices, all 6 of the conservatives, around moving it to 15 weeks, if you believe the reports that have come out. And obviously there were 5 who said, this is the window. Roe was wrongly decided. Let's overturn Roe. Let's knock it down and be done with it. And John Roberts went to them and said, okay, I am totally with you on 15 weeks. And I am not necessarily not with you on eventually getting rid of Roe. However, if you just overturn Roe without a build-up to it, and what he was trying to say is, look, there is a process by which you build up to the big thing, which is we start paring back, we start enhancing the accepted societal norms of fetal viability. We will get a better result in the end if we continue to just pare this thing back. And Alito and the rest of, and there's arguments for both sides. They said, no, we're done with this. This is our opportunity. We're doing it. Okay. I think that was rightfully decided. However, and my wife and I have this argument all the time, or conversation, because there's no one more pro-life than her. I said, if, in hindsight, the country may have become less pro-life because of the overturning of Roe versus Wade, because we have seen the recoiling of crazy people who aren't ever going to have abortions anyway, but then that becomes their signature issue. We have seen, because of the way state ballot initiatives work, like in Kansas and other places, because the anti-life people are super organized and the pro-life people were not, you have seen anti-life legislation that was not previously on the books pass and abortions maybe even increase. My point in all of this long meandering thing here is, if they had listened to Roberts and said, okay, we will just rule on Dobbs, we will pare back to 15 weeks, we will now, because the country, that was where the country was, you still have everybody moving in the same direction, you have still everybody moving gradually towards more pro-life legislation, and maybe we would be a more pro-life country collectively today if we had been more incremental.
It happened too fast.
In our reform. And so my point in all of this long meandering story is to say that while there are major reforms certainly needed inside the federal government, systematically going with the big ones first and then chopping away at it time after time after time. If you say it's a 4-year plan instead of a 4-day plan, you may end up getting a much better result.
Well, the big questions are, what is the vision and how fast are we going to do it? And we'll get into that more later in the show. But the Secretary of Health or FDA chief would require Senate confirmation. Now, Thomas Massie, he signaled that he's ready and willing to accept a role concerning agriculture in Trump's administration. He didn't say that he accepted a role, but his name is being floated as Agriculture Secretary.
One of the things I think people, and it's so weird, this is normally a big topic of conversation, but it almost didn't come up at all during the presidential race, was now whether it's 52 or 55 or however many senators they have, and with Trump, you will have a slew of young federal judges that will be. Look, Trump did phenomenal on the judges. I got tons of issues with Trump, but two issues I have no issue with Trump are his foreign policy and the judges. He did phenomenal with the judges, and it's so weird. Nobody's talking about this, and I actually think my dad and I were talking about this yesterday. I think you may see two Supreme Court retirements this term because you got Alito and Thomas, who are in their 70s, which sucks because they're the two best. But if you're realistically playing it out in your mind, okay, you have 52 to 55. You would likely breeze through a confirmation if you got two good Supreme Court justices. Just look at what happened to Ruth Bader Ginsburg, right? Like, she held out forever and then kicks the bucket, and then it goes to the other side, which she certainly wouldn't have wanted. So it's going to be fascinating to see what's going to happen in this second Trump term.
I think one of the fastest things that you're going to notice the difference is foreign policy.
Totally.
Because that's the one that you don't need confirmation. You don't need anybody's approval. Trump can just go and have conversations.
And again, it comes back to, remember, like, he had the Tillerson guy and all of these, because his theory was, well, I'm going to get all these outsider people and we're going to run the government like a business. Okay, to some extent, yes, but look at how hard that made it on Trump. And the people, all those people end up biting him in the backside. He's got to be very meticulous about who he, like, here's an example, right? Again, like when people were saying, oh, Rob's going to go with Micah, Rob's going to leave. I wouldn't do that because I'm not going to be subservient to anyone. If somebody screws something up, I'm going to tell them they suck. You can't have that in your administration. Trump had too many of those people that were thinking about a book deal or their TV gig rather than, hey, it's the loyalty to the cause, it's the loyalty to the president, it's the loyalty to the mission. There may be things I don't agree with. You got to, eat crap and learn to like the taste of it. He's got to get people loyal to him, loyal to his mission, who don't want anything other than the mission. And that's going to be a real tough thing for him to pull off because he's surrounded his whole life with people who seek attention.
Okay, we're going to hear how they're viewing Trump's victory across the pond coming up next. We mentioned foreign policy. How is this being taken across the world? We're going to talk about that coming up from 93 WIBC.
For the first time in over 120 years, a president elected to a non-consecutive term.
Grover Cleveland, hold my beer.
President-elect Donald J. Trump.
I want to thank the American people for the extraordinary honor of being elected your 47th president and your 45th president.
He did better almost everywhere.
History happens here.
Truly be the golden age of America.
93 WIBC.
Hey, Rob, here's a question for you. You've probably heard this saying because you know it all. Have you heard the saying, cash is king?
Yeah, I'd like more of it so I could be more of a king.
Yeah, well, it's true most of the time, but it's not when you're retired.
Yeah, hey, it's Kendall and Casey show, and when you're retired, cash is not king. Income is king.
Yeah, discover how you could turn your savings into a guaranteed stream of income in retirement. And that's with Bill Demery, your retirement guy in Indy. We trust Bill to help us with our planning for our retirement, and you can too.
If you've saved more than $200,000, call Bill right now at 317-932-9912. 317-932-9912. Social Security alone won't be enough to pay for your retirement. You need to create other sources of income that you can count on for the rest of your life.
Yeah, so we invite you to call Bill Demery today. 317-932-9912. Once again, that's Bill Demery, your retirement guy here in Indy. 317-932-9912.
Hey, Pat Sullivan here with my friend Jack Hope, owner of Hope Plumbing. Jack, at the Sullivan House, we can't deal with any last-minute plumbing emergencies around the holidays. What do you suggest to get ready?
It's important to get your branch lines cleared because it could prevent a major disaster at some point over the holidays. And for the month of November, we have a $99 branch line clearing special for all your faithful listeners.
You heard them. Call Hope Plumbing for a $99 branch line clearing and get your home prepped for all the holiday fun.
Mommy, want to play a game with me and Dad?
Mommy's not feeling good.
You need to vaporize that cold.
Vaporize?
Yeah, with DayQuil VapoCool. It's DayQuil plus a rush of Vicks vapors.
Whoa.
Come on, honey. Let's let Mommy rest.
You guys are amazing. And so is DayQuil VapoCool.
DayQuil VapoCool, the vaporizing daytime coughing, aching, fever, power through your day medicine. And to vaporize sore throat pain, try Vicks VapoCool drops. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Hey, it's Rob Kendall. Join me November 21st at Hi-Fi, a celebrity bartender toast, a Moselle Sanders powered by Jack Daniels. I'll be one of the local celebrities creating a unique craft cocktail for you to enjoy. But here's the twist. You get to be the judge of who created the best cocktail. Not only will you have a great time tasting unique drinks, but you'll also be supporting the Moselle Sanders Foundation. Your tickets starting at just $20 helps us reach our goal of $10,000 to feed 10,000 people this Thanksgiving. Don't miss out. Get your tickets now at hifiindy.com.
Bee's offering our Black Friday sale, 52% off, plus 10% manufacturer rebates and 18 months, no interest, no payments.
Making a fool's joke out of the promises we made.
So Joe Biden is going to address the nation today at 11 o'clock. When he does that, we will air that here on 93 WIBC, at least part of it. I can't imagine he's going to go really long, but he's supposed to talk
over
about...
under 10 minutes. Over under 10 minutes.
Well, I'm going to say under. He can go under. But he's supposed to talk about, transition of power. And
he's thrilled, isn't he?
I saw a report this morning that says that he has been spending a lot of time just watching Netflix.
Well, I mean, he's senioritis, right? He's got to be thrilled, right? They stole it from him. He's cognizant enough, at least throughout portions of the day, to know they stole it from him. He knows she's a complete idiot, that he was forced into picking because she's black and a woman. He admitted that. I mean, that's why he picked her. And he's got to be sitting around going, I gave you people all these things you claimed you wanted, and the green dream thing and the Supreme Court justice and, all of these. I tried to do the illegal student loan debt cancellation. I tried to fire people if they wouldn't get a vaccine. I did all these things that I knew were political suicide.
You're adding onto the list of all the horrible things that happened over the past 4 years.
But, he did all those. He doesn't. The stuff Biden did as president does not in any way match the tone and tenor that he had in terms of policies that he supported as a senator. He basically, bended a knee to the BLM people, all of this stuff, and they still stole the thing from him. And he's got to be just laughing his backside off that she not only lost, she got smoked. And hey, I might not be in the White House anymore, but you ain't either, sister.
So can you name one good thing that he did?
No, this is why he lost. And this is why once the Reddit people get done screaming about how stupid people in Florida are, ask yourself that question to the average person. And this is it's a challenge for us on the right, and obviously it's a challenge on the left. The difference is I think we do it well because our livelihood involves being able to give good analysis for people. Even if they don't agree with it, I think people believe we kind of know our facts and how we form opinions. If the left is being honest with themselves, not the thing that you really like, right? Like not the thing that your issue is, but to the average person, is their life better than it was 4 years ago? And overwhelmingly, the people said no. And so if you want to win elections, then you have to say, okay, why wasn't it better? What did we do wrong? And you can lie to people all you want, but you cannot lie to them about their daily existence. You can tell them, oh, the CHIPS Act was great. Oh, the Inflation Reduction Act was wonderful. Oh, green this and, no, it wasn't. It didn't work for people. It didn't make people's wages go up. It didn't make their buying power more efficient. It didn't make them live in a better house or have better food it didn't work. I'm sorry. You can scream and yell about people being stupid all you want. People vote based on their own self-interest or what they perceive their own self-interest to be.
One area that you could argue that maybe he did a decent job in, that would be Israel, because he did somewhat.
What?
Well, I mean, you got to think about what the base of his party was going after. He kind of went against them.
Israel happened because Joe Biden was the president.
Well, and all the money that he gave to Iran and everything.
Yes, how could you say he did a good job? He created the thing.
He created the problem and then said, okay, you're right. I'm going to take that back.
He did, yes, to an extent.
Go against the base of his party.
Right, he did.
After he created the problem.
But he only did that because of politics. That was a total and it was the most half-baked effort ever because they kept letting the crazy people be out there on TV talking about how, ceasefire this and both sides are to blame that. No. Yeah. No. A bunch of terrorists killed 1,500 or however many it was Israelis because they believed Joe Biden was weak and wouldn't do anything about it. And by the way, he funded it by giving all that money to Iran.
Okay, so how is he being perceived, the Donald Trump's victory around the world?
Horribly, I hope. Horribly.
Donald Trump's victory?
Yes, I hope the whole world is pissed off because most of those people around the world are not our friends. They do not like us. They're nothing but leeches, and I hope they're all pissed off.
So Newsweek reported that Hamas calls for immediate end to war after Trump election win.
Oh, gee. You know what that's reminiscent of? Remember in 1980 when Ronald Reagan, the Iranian hostage crisis, as soon as that guy won the election, here's your hostages back. This is what I try to tell people about Trump, and it's part of the ability to be successful in any facet where it's personality driven. So like our business is personality driven. Business is often personality driven. Politics is personality driven. Part of the ability to be good at something is convincing people of a thing you are not, right? Trump is not actually a lunatic, but the perception is, hey, that guy's a little off and you better not mess with him. I think about even take something like pro wrestling. Macho Man Randy Savage was one of the greatest professional wrestling characters of all time because while a very nice guy when you would meet him in person, you believed he was a little off. Like, he looked like a total lunatic when he would walk down the wrestling ring with his wife, Elizabeth, and it was like, you better not mess with that guy because he's not playing with a full deck. Why are we popular? People believe I'm a little off. They're like, that guy's a little nutty. He's not playing with the full deck of cards, and he's liable to say, what? What do you want?
Can confirm.
Right? That's part, but my point is, whether it's politics or pro wrestling or radio, anything that involves a personality-driven profession, you got to make people convinced you are the thing to get the desired result. And Trump has, whether it's Kim Jong-un or Putin or Hamas or whoever, hey, that guy's a little off.
Little twitchy.
And you don't want to mess with him.
Little twitchy. All right, well, here's a woman. She's over in England, and she is saying that the BBC is in absolute ruins, and she is celebrating about Trump's victory.
It's the best day ever. It couldn't be better here in the UK. We have the BBC in absolute ruins. They were unable to announce Trump victory at 7 a.m. and they said Kamala still had a very narrow margin of a route to victory, even though it was obvious she had no route to victory at all. Channel 4's coverage was started and then completely collapsed, leaving the channel having to play repeat episode of Friends or something because they had no words to speak about the glorious victory of Trump. And now we have a leader of this country who actively sent over his own teams to try and campaign for Kamala. And we have a foreign secretary who called the new president of the United States of America some of the worst names under the sun. So we can look forward to Trump punishing both of them very hard in the near future. For now, I'm just going to indulge myself in all the tears of all the people who said for all the weeks that they said, oh, it's on a knife edge, it's on a narrow margin. Well, looks like Trump won the popular vote, looks like he's got the House and the Senate, and it looks like most of the swing states have gone red as well, and Georgia by 200,000 votes. I mean, truly, one of the best days ever.
All the swing states, by the way.
States.
Arizona, Nevada, all of them. The blue wall. It is Kendall and Casey. It's 93 WIBC.
Hi, this is Denny Smith, and believe it or not, the holidays are almost here. I know you really don't want to do it, but your carpets, floors, and furniture are screaming for a good cleaning. Your carpets are the biggest filter in your home, and they're loaded with deeply embedded dirt, dander, and allergens, not to mention pet stains and some of your stains, too. Here's a thought. Get rid of all that stuff. Right now, get 3 rooms zero resified starting at just $129 and $75 off air duct cleaning, too. That's a $40 savings on carpet cleaning. The game changer is the patented ZR water that uses no soap, leaves no residue, and there are no harsh chemicals because they just aren't needed to get things really clean. That's why Zero Res is my go-to carpet cleaning company, because I know that there's nobody better. I just love these folks. Just call them, mention WIBC, get 3 rooms of carpet cleaned starting at $129, plus you get $75 off air duct cleaning too. Call 317-388-5141. Book things online at ZeroResIndy.com. That's ZeroResIndy.com.
Are you worried your furnace isn't ready? Fear not at B&W HVAC Plumbing and Electrical. Visit B+W.com/radio where your comfort is their priority. B&W is your independent American Standard air dealer.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Time to make his picks. It's 51 degrees and sunny downtown. I'm Kirk Darling. Here's what's trending at 10:30. Following his victory in the presidential election, Donald Trump is putting together a transition team before Inauguration Day on January 20th, but he's also thinking about his cabinet.
He will first need to find a chief of staff and also make some pretty important cabinet secretary positions and picks. Trump's campaign manager, Susie Wiles, her name has been tossed around D.C. circles as a potential chief of staff, but nothing has been announced just yet. We got a new statement from his transition team, which reads in part, in the days and weeks ahead, President Trump will be selecting personnel to serve our nation under his leadership and enact policies that make the life of Americans affordable, safe, and secure.
Fox's Aisha Hasni. A military judge is ruling that plea agreements between the U.S. government and possible 9/11 conspirators are valid. That's according to the multiple reports. The new ruling allows the plea deals to move forward and potentially means those accused could be sentenced to life in prison instead of being given the death penalty. I'm Kirk Darling, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Mortgage rates are down and creating more active buyers and sellers. If you've been waiting, now is a great time to sell your home before more homes flood the market, driving down prices. Maximize your home sale now with the market expert who delivers maximum money in less time, Mark Dietl. Perhaps you're worried about costly repairs or upgrades needed to sell your home. Mark Dietl guarantees your home sold at a mutually agreed upon price and deadline, or he will buy it. Listen to what Ray in Indianapolis had to say about working with Mark Dietl. I needed to move in a hurry, so I was out the door into a new home, but left with the big problem of selling my old home with 2 mortgage payments fast approaching. I heard Mark Dietl was the answer, and I heard right. I was ecstatic when Mark sold my home for the price I needed in 2 days on the market. Call the local Indianapolis agent I trust and recommend, and the agent who guarantees your home sold or he'll buy it. Call Mark Dietl, 317-755-4232 for all the details, or go online to markdietl.com. That's Mark, DIETEL.com. Tell him Rob sent you.
Life insurance is one of those things that just about everybody needs, but few people actually have. Hey, if you die unexpectedly without life insurance, guess what? You'll leave your family with even a bigger mess. Life insurance will help replace your family's income. It'll help cover burial expenses. Life insurance can even help pay off debt like credit cards and medical bills. Life insurance can even pay for college. And if you own a business and you die, life insurance can help your business from collapsing. It can even help cover estate taxes. Life insurance has never been more affordable and needed. Plus, you can always shop around even if you have a plan and save some money. So call the Life Insurance Quote Line right now for free pricing information.
800-917-8730. 800-917-8730. 800-917-8730. That's 800-917-8730.
Attention. If you suffer from consistent pain in your joints caused by arthritis, overuse, or injury, you may be a candidate for a revolutionary therapy that could revitalize damaged tissue. This approach can provide long-lasting relief from pain in your knees, shoulders, hips, and other joints with no surgery, no drugs, and no downtime. To find out if you're a viable candidate, you may request a free consultation from QC Kinetics by calling 463-251-1912. Instead of masking the symptoms, it goes to the root of the problem to resolve it at its source. Already used by thousands of satisfied patients nationwide, this joint pain therapy is available right now to the public, but only for qualified candidates. Again, to find out if you're a viable candidate for this therapy, you may request a free consultation by calling QC Kinetics at 463-251-1912. That's 463-251-1912.
You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC. It's time to hear from you. Kendall and Casey present Voicemails. Brought to you by QC Kinetics for non-surgical regenerative medicine treatment at 317-559-PAIN.
The phone number, 317-684-8444, if you'd like to leave us a voicemail with Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. And we start off with a phone call about the governor's race here in Indiana, although that race is now over. We know it is Governor-elect Mike Braun. Someone who wants to call and tell us about how she was originally going to vote and then where she ended up.
Love your show. I just wanted to say that I was going to make the wrong choice and vote for Rainwater. But I am so glad you gave him an opportunity to be on your show and become, like Casey said, humanized. I had the total opposite thought of who Mike Braun really was. But now I feel like I know him. I feel like he's a good guy. He is calm. He didn't take all the credit for who he has become in this political party, because he gave a lot of credit to his wife, his family, and he actually listened. He really did. And I am very thankful that I got to listen to that, and I voted for him. I'm glad that he is okay with getting help from wherever, that's going to help everybody instead of just himself. And, he just seems like a really good dude now. And I'm really happy that you guys are part of this, because I truly believe if he wasn't, then we could have really been sad today. I just want to say thank you. Thank you for showing us all the power of your show. Exactly. And who Mike Braun really is, because I have a totally different outlook on him now, and I really believe he is going to help us. So thank you very much. And now we can get back to making the America great again. That's awesome. You guys keep doing what you're doing, please. Don't stop. Love you all. Have a great day.
Yeah, it was a very nice phone call. Thank you. Our saying is no better friend, no worse enemy. And look, to Braun's credit, and this is part of what I tried to tell people about Braun, and you can't say certain things when an election's going on because you have private conversations, and I'm very, very good about keeping our private conversations private unless somebody says tell everybody about it. Braun is a really smart dude. You don't become as wealthy as Mike Braun became without being a really smart dude. And you don't do that without knowing how to run things. And I've said this multiple times. I said it when we interviewed Mike earlier today. Mike Braun and his team. Now, we don't live in fantasy world, and we don't lie to our audience. If Micah had lost, that things might have gone a little different, right? But once Micah won, they, of their own volition, not mine, they made the pivot and reached out and said, okay, we see it. They saw it before, but they saw it right in front of them. You guys got enough juice to get this dude across the finish line, and don't kid yourself. Our show played a huge part in that, and they recognized that. And to Micah's credit, Micah told them, they said, look, you're not going to bullcrap Rob. They said, Micah said, nobody knows local government better than Rob Kendall. And so if you're going to engage with him, you better come ready to listen to what he has to say and listen to how things work. And they did. They did. They got the property tax thing wrong in the beginning. We called them out on it. They were very, very receptive. They listened to what we had to say. They recognized I did know what I was talking about. They fixed it. They have a great plan now that will really help a lot of people if they pass it in full. And that's the way I think Braun is going to operate. He's not the most dynamic dude, right? Like, he's not the life of every party. He's not going to be that. But I think he will be a very competent, conservative governor who will lean in on the things that he is passionate about, or more importantly, that he knows you, the audience, are passionate about. And clearly he has made that, he's following through on that with saying property taxes need to be the number one bill in the House and Senate.
He said it again today when he was on the air with us.
Let's get us off. So I think people are going to be pleasantly surprised in terms of results of how well Braun actually does. And we'll wait to see how things develop here over the next several weeks and first of the year. We're going to have to lean into it as a show. We're going to have to lean into it as an audience, getting these state reps who are going to be bombarded by local government people and the angry red-shirted teacher people to not make these property tax changes. We've got to drown them out.
Well, to his credit, he was able to pivot after listening. because property taxes was not his priority until he heard from all of you. And now it is. Here's another phone call. This one is somebody calling to say how happy they are, but they also have a prediction.
Hey, guys. I just want to say that this is one of the happiest days I've had in several years. Happy about the governor race, and I'm happy, of course, about the presidential race. I've got a prediction for you guys, and I think it's going to come true. I will bet just about anything on this that it will happen. I think that the Democrats, like Whoopi and George Clooney and the rest of them, are going to throw so much money on the table to Joe Biden to step away, say he has to resign because of his health, and even for just 2 months, they want Kamala to come in and step in as president of the United States so they can have their first minority woman president. They are too close for that not to happen. This may not happen again for years, so they're going to do it now. So within the next week, maybe 2 weeks, I think you will see Joe Biden stepping down because of his health, and they will offer him everything under the sun.
Some sort of golden parachute. She's going to forcibly invoke the 25th Amendment.
Oh, that's a prevailing theory, and I appreciate that phone call, but I think at this point Biden is like so elated that she's lost, and I think he hates her with an unmeasurable level of disdain for her and those people around her, and I think he is thrilled she lost, and I don't see any way he's ever stepping aside now, and he's going to waltz out of there undefeated in terms of, I mean, he obviously lost other presidential elections, but he's going to walk out going, ha ha, suckers.
Yeah. Well, we'll hear from him in just a little bit. All right, one last phone call, and then Hammer is going to join us, and this is a question about the Delphi trials.
Yes, I got a question about Richard Allen. I keep hearing your newscasters talking about he's charged with 4 counts of murder. How's that possible? As far as I know, he only killed the 2 young ladies, allegedly. And I'd like for you to answer that question. I can't figure that one out. Thank you.
Well, I went and asked about that.
Oh, good, because I said I have no idea.
You don't know,
nothing of this case makes any sense to me, but go ahead.
Okay, so I did go ask our news director, and he said that it is 4 counts because it is considered 2 counts of murder, 2 counts kidnapping in the commission of murder.
Well, what if he didn't do any of them?
Yeah, well, that's looking.
What if they're just made up counts of murder? I mean, clearly, look, and I'm not trying to be like funny about this, but this case is a disgrace. The case the state put on is a disgrace that they allowed that thing to get to trial. That's all it doesn't mean the guy didn't do it, but that's all the evidence. What evidence do they have? This gun thing that has been totally, I mean, they've cast reasonable doubt on that. And you got confessions from a guy who was basically locked in a torture chamber for however long. I mean, the equivalent of that. I mean, the guy was clearly going crazy and running around naked and everything else. And that's it. That's your old. I mean, and the confessions, we don't even count those because they arrested him not on the confessions. They arrested him on what? That bullet that the prosecution's lead witness couldn't recreate. Come on. I mean, I feel for those families. I feel horrible for those families. I hate that they're having to go through all this, but law enforcement should be ashamed of themselves. Any person who was involved in that, and this prosecutor should be ashamed of himself that they brought charges against this guy with nothing.
So, not to contradict what Ryan Hedrick told us, that it was 2 counts murder, 2 counts kidnapping in the commission of murder, but CNN is reporting that it's 2 counts of murder, 2 counts of felony murder.
Yeah, well, whatever. The point is, it's all ridiculous, and hopefully the jury will do the right thing and not convict this guy because, yikes.
It is Kendall and Casey. It's 93 WIBC, and Jason Hammer is going to join us next.
It's a bully that will not let up until you do something about it. And the worst part is that the bullying happens when you're at your most vulnerable. You might as well have your hands tied behind your back while that bully puts one hand over your mouth and pinches your nose with the other. He'll let up, let you catch your breath, and then he'll do it again. Sleep apnea is a bully. Not long ago, we heard our friend John tell you about how his bully was stopping his breathing in his sleep over 145 times an hour. Think about what that can do to your body's organs. It's no wonder that the snowball effects of long-term obstructive sleep apnea are heart disease, stroke, even depression and anxiety. But this problem is solvable, and we have solutions, and you'll be surprised at how simple they are.
To date, Advent has solved over 40,000 breathing triangle problems. It's time to put that bully in his place. Go to adventknows.com to schedule your appointment, because Advent knows. When you breathe well, you live better. AdventKnows.com. Results may vary.
Hey, Pat Sullivan here from Sullivan Hardware and Garden and Allisonville Home and Garden by Sullivan. Well, this weekend, you'll want to look at the biggest selection of artificial trees in Indiana, already reduced 30%. Come see our pre-lit trees in stock ranging from 2 to 14 foot tall. Plus, you'll get an extra discount on some of the best-selling trees. And with purchase, we'll even throw in a $25 gift card from our gift shop. Just arriving, fresh greens and live trees. Large selection of ornaments also on sale. Buy two, get one free. Can't make it to our stores? Well, check out our artificial trees online at sullivanhardware.com. So come in or buy online. The choice is yours. Again, this year at our 71st and Keystone store, climb aboard the Sullivan Express train and visit Santa. Book your tickets at sullivanhardware.com. Sullivan Hardware and Garden, 71st and Keystone, 49th and Penn, Cicero, and Allisonville Home and Garden by Sullivan, 114th and Allisonville Road in Fishers.
Here is Jiffy Lube of Indiana's COO, Lonnie Hinkle.
Lots of Hoosiers belong to unlimited car wash programs because they want their car to look great. At Jiffy Lube, we're here to help you make sure your car runs great. So to help take care of your car inside and out, Jiffy Lube is offering everyone who belongs to a monthly car wash program a $20 discount and a free tire rotation from now through the end of the year. Just point out your car wash sticker and we'll do the rest. My Jiffy Lube teams are maintenance experts. Our computer system provides all of the manufacturer's maintenance recommendations for every make and model of vehicle, so we know exactly what every car needs to operate at its best. Jiffy Lube is your trusted one-stop shop for all that your car needs to run well for many years. You never need an appointment, and we now offer brakes, tires, tune-ups, and minor repairs at most stores. So stop in on your way to the car wash, save $20, plus get a free tire rotation just for belonging to a monthly car wash program.
Jiffy Lube. Nobody does it better.
Have you compared your options during Medicare open enrollment? Plans change each year, and so can your health. That's why it's so important to compare this year and make sure your drugs are covered. At Medicare.gov, you can easily compare all your options. Find a better plan, save some money, or both. Open enrollment ends December 7th. Visit Medicare.gov or call 1-800-MEDICARE. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Febreze. As a rideshare driver, I love keeping my car smelling fresh and clean. So when I'm driving, I only trust Febreze car vent clips, featuring 3 distinct intensity settings, because it's that little touch that sets me apart. I can turn the intensity down for subtle freshness, or I can turn it up for when I want lots of scent. So whether it's set to low, medium, or high, with Febreze car, I know my car's going to smell amazing. Which keeps my driver rating right where it belongs. Picking up Oscar!
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. When an injured worker left me a message that said, "You probably won't call me back, I'm just a nobody," I called him right back. Nobody's a nobody, and no one deserves a better firm than you.
He calls to tell me that he's been in an accident, and I'm just scared to death.
I couldn't have hoped for anybody better than Morgan & Morgan. It makes you feel like you're worth something.
It really did feel like family.
Injured? Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Dropping temperatures? B&W HVAC Plumbing and Electrical has you covered. Visit B+W.com/radio today. B&W is your independent American Standard Air dealer.
Trans-Siberian Orchestra is making its way back to Gamebridge Fieldhouse on December 19th with an all-new show, The Lost Christmas Eve Tour. For tickets and more information, head to WIBC.com.
Show. Jason Hammer in the studio. Good morning.
am I the only one that's, when I hear this song, you slowly have to do the bender and put the arm up in the air, right? Mm-hmm. Has to happen. It's the law. It's just like doing the drum solo in the air tonight. Mm-hmm. Like I've taught my kids that. Chris is all in. Jacob begrudgingly does it because I make him. So
you look nice today. What's going on with you?
Oh, thank you. Had a awesome charity event this morning for the Central Indiana Police Foundation.
Oh.
Awesome people in that room. Big IBC folks. So
oh, that's exciting.
Shout out to all of those folks. Mm-hmm. And that's the nice part of this. The revenge tour continues now.
Yeah.
So, again, for the last, 36 plus hours, social media has been just littered with the same people who were calling all of us, Hitler,
garbage,
racist, garbage, fascist, everything under the sun for 4 years. And now they're having tough conversations with their daughter about rhetoric. Oh, this disgusting man that's taking the White House. Oh, his awful rhetoric. Again, 4 years. We took it, right? Donald Trump got beat. We had to sit back and watch the victory tour take place. And, we had questions about the ballots, and we were called conspiracy theorists, and then it snowballed from there.
Where did the 16 to 18 million votes go?
Great question. I mean,
I'm not being facetious. I'm not trying to be a jerk. Did these people, are they on the Lost Island? Where did they go?
That's a great question. But again, you were called a name for having that for 4 years, which is fine. To the victors go the spoils. But now it's the revenge tour. And we had a segment on our show yesterday where I have a list of people. Oh, no. And I gave Nige the option on how to roll the list out to the masses. Kylan?
So for all of the people like Greg Doyle who are trying to get people like Danny Lopez fired from the Indiana Pacers because they didn't like his politics or his commercials, for all of the Adam Arends, this one's for you. So we've got a couple options here, Nige. You get to pick your poison. I've got a list of people who can suck it. So do you want me to just rattle them off? Or do you want me to do it in a Hammer and Nigel Records kind of way?
Oh, please. Hammer and Nigel Records, of course.
Yeah. Okay.
Please.
So this is a lot of the people who have been a pain in the ass the last 4 years. They've called you names. They have bashed the things you believe in. And when I put this together, I've been listening to a little bit of Billy Joel.
Oh,
no.
I will ask the question that I think is a fair question to ask. Who raised these people?
The Trump following is in many ways fundamentally a cult. It's a cult in every sense, and now it appears to be a sort of Jim Jones era. Death cult. A death cult.
The dehumanizing rhetoric of Adolf Hitler is once again alive and well on a national political stage. This time, of course, Donald Trump.
Oprah Winfrey, Joy Reid, Morning Joe, Mayor Pete, Borders-R, Behar, all the writers of The Star, Rex Chapman, Cardi B, Greg Doyle, KJP, Old Balls, Tim Walz, Marilyn Monroe. I mean, let's be honest.
Marilyn Monroe.
If she were alive, she'd be in that category, right? Come on. Rachel Maddow, Psaki, Jimmy Fallon, Springsteen, George Clooney, De Niro, Howard Stern and his whole show, Liz Cheney, Kinzinger, ABC and David Muir, Mark Cuban, Adam Wren, everyone at CNN.
Wow!
That's amazing.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Hammer and Nigel Records still cranking out the hits after all these years.
Well, the reality is, both sides, I always say, need to realize this, that there's it's 40 this side who are uber passionate, it's 40 that side who are uber passionate, and then there's 20% in the middle who just make up on their mind on the condition of their life or how they feel that day. And to the left, you lost those people this time. You didn't put together a country that they said, I want 4 more years of. That's what it comes down to. You can hate us on the right all you want. It's always the people in the middle who decide the outcome.
Speaking of deciding outcomes, we have a podcast coming out this afternoon, 1 p.m., another Degenerates Next Door.
5, here I come!
I've got action on Thursday night tonight, so download that anywhere you get your podcast. Free advice, free picks, the Degenerates Next Door.
And what's coming up this afternoon?
So we're going to have the latest on this Delphi situation.
Boy.
We've tasked Guy Relford with giving a mock final argument.
Ooh.
Okay.
So he's going to have 5 minutes to act like he's the defense attorney.
Like that.
And he's going to deliver a closing argument this afternoon.
It's going to be fire, I'm sure. Thank you, Hammer.
So
You're listening to Kendall and Casey.
Wait. Biden's next?
That's what I've been
I got to do a
told.
tribute to my dog after Biden? Really? That's how you're having Bruce go out? Biden and then Bruce?
Biden better be first because Bruce is smarter than Biden.
This is true. It's 93 WIBC.
Hey, it's Rob. If you want to grow your hair back, check out the precision and accuracy of the Artist Robotic FUE at We Grow Hair Indie. You'll be amazed at the permanent natural results you can get and get back to work ASAP. Darren Andrews, Clinic Director of We Grow Hair Indie, is here to tell us more.
The Artist Robotic FUE hair transplant at We Grow Hair Indie, one of the most sophisticated hair transplant procedures available. The accuracy and the precision of the Artist Robotic FUE is what clients love the most. Get the results you want with our Artist FUE or multi-unit hair grafting procedure.
Don't wait. Call today and find out more about the Artist Robotic FUE at WeGrowHairIndie.com. Call 317-522-2995 for your hair evaluation. 317-522-2995 or go to WeGrowHairIndie.com. and grow your hair back today.
Garage door problems? Call today for service today. Garage Doors of Indianapolis services all makes of garage doors 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Call today for service today. 875-4577. Call today for service today. Get it fixed right now. Call Garage Doors of Indianapolis at 875-4577 or visit doorstoday.com.
In the morning, call 875-4577. Service today. Today.
In the fight against lung cancer, it's game on, game strong. Franciscan Health leads the way with robotic technology to find and treat cancer sooner. Our entire team of multidisciplinary experts let cancer know it's hard to play against us. Franciscan Health is changing the game for lung cancer patients. Schedule a consultation or second opinion today. Visit franciscanhealth.org/lung cancer care.
Hey, John, why so glum?
I just got let go. The company's downsizing. This is the third time in the last 2 years. I'm done with this.
Have you thought about My Computer Career? I've heard they can train you for a career in IT in just a few months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI. And you don't need prior training or experience. Now that's a recession-resistant career.
Wow, thanks. I'll check them out.
Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation. mycomputercareer.edu. Financial aid is available for qualified students, including the GI Bill.
Hey, can you blow up some balloons for Jack's party?
I can't. I'm so congested.
You need Sinex Saline from Vicks.
Sinex Saline Nasal Spray?
Yeah, just Sinex. Breathe.
Sinex Saline instantly clears everyday congestion associated with colds and year-round allergies with a gentle, ultra-fine mist that's no mess and easy to control.
Daddy, we need more balloons.
On it.
Enjoy life's important moments without congestion. Try Sinex Saline from Vicks. Just Sinex. Breathe. Use as directed.
I want a doll, a bike, and a new puppy.
Kids don't always ask for what they need. Give the littlest Hoosiers in your life a gift that starts today and will last forever. The gift of education. An Indiana 529 plan provides education savings for tomorrow while you enjoy generous tax benefits today. There are flexible investment options and a convenient mobile app. Get started with as little as $10 at myindiana529.com. Read the disclosure booklet carefully before investing. Sponsored by Indiana 529.
Inside Indiana Business Radio, the news you need to get ahead. Indiana's business news leader, weekdays at 6:32 a.m. and 5:56 p.m. on WIBC.
B's offering our Black Friday sale, 52% off, plus 10% manufacturer rebates and 18 months, no interest, no payments.
Coming up in 2 minutes, closing arguments happening now in the Delphi murders case up in Carroll County. Plus, Ryan Hedrick reports on why snipers had to be brought in an IMPD standoff.
15.
And also, property taxes and Governor Governor-elect Mike Braun. That and more coming up from the Technology Recyclers Studios. You're listening to 93 WIBC, WIBC HD1 Indianapolis. It's 11 o'clock.
He has only 75 days left in the White House.
I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News, and in a few minutes, President Biden will address the nation from the Rose Garden the day after calling President-elect Trump to congratulate him, promising a smooth transition.
It's going to be really interesting to hear how President Biden threads the needle today about what comes next with this peaceful transfer of power, because that's not going to happen until January. And it's not like Joe Biden is just going to stop trying to implement his agenda. You've got Jen O'Malley Dillon from the campaign that just lost talking about how the work is about to begin to Trump-proof the administration. Joe Biden next week is going to head to South America. He's going to try to put his fingerprints on as many different things as possible before a president with a completely different worldview comes in and tries to undo it.
That's Fox's Peter Ducey at the White House. Vice President Harris not expected to be there at the Biden address the day after her concession speech as the Trump transition team plans the takeover, considering who to nominate for cabinet positions. Republican Senator Marco Rubio is rumored to be on the list, but he tells Fox,
I have a job to do now. I'm in the Senate. I have an opportunity to serve there, and he's going to need people in the Senate to help carry that agenda, because one thing is to win an election, but then you got to do something with it. There's a mandate here. They're telling us, go up there and fix these things, and we have to do that. If we don't do that, then all this was for naught.
For now, Republicans have won 52 seats for their majority in the next Congress and the Senate, with a lead in the still uncalled race in Pennsylvania. In Maine, the race has just been called for Angus King's re-election. He's an independent who caucuses with Democrats. A wind-driven wildfire still burns out of control north of Los Angeles, torching about 14,000 acres.
This is the most dangerous fire we've seen in Southern California in about 6 years, not because it's big, but because it's moving so fast.
Fox's William Lajeunesse near the flames in Ventura County.
Thousands evacuated, 70,000 without power in 6 counties, and about 40 to 50 homes destroyed. We had 80-mile-an-hour gusts yesterday. That's a Cat 1 hurricane.
America's listening to Fox News.
WIBC Mobile News, on the level, on the go.
It's the last round. It's 53 and sunny downtown. I'm Kirk Darling. Here's what's trending at 11:02. Closing arguments are happening now in the Delphi murders trial. The defense rested its case on Wednesday, which came as a surprise to many in the courtroom. But soon after, the court recessed, and now both sides have 2.5 hours apiece before the case is handed over to the jury for deliberation on a verdict. So far, the closing arguments have now been completed by the prosecution. Police and snipers on rooftops during a standoff that stretched from Wednesday into this morning.
It was in Indianapolis at a home on the city's east side near Sherman Drive and East Washington Street, where neighbors started seeing lots of cops and eventually a rolling command center with a SWAT team enter their neighborhood. A woman had called police to tell them that she was being held by gunpoint, but that she was able to get away from a man who was in a home. When police surrounded that home, he started shooting at them. They had to use flashbangs to distract him while they handcuffed him. No police officers were injured. Ryan Hedrick, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
Property taxes will be one of Mike Braun's top priorities once he is governor and the legislative session begins in January. He says he plans to be as active as possible in leading state lawmakers on his vision for the state.
If we do what we've been doing over the last 12 years, that is losing an unbelievable opportunity.
Braun says that he and Republicans in particular have a big opportunity ahead of them. Her blood alcohol content was 3 times the legal limit. That's what police in Marshall County say a woman was doing, of course, as she was pulling 81 miles an hour down a city street in Plymouth. The speed limit there is 35. Brianna Ellis ran several stoplights in the process. The cops got her to stop, and she was arrested. Notre Dame takes on 1-8 Florida State on Saturday. Head coach Marcus Freeman urging his team not to be fooled by the record.
I'm not trying to make this team something they're not. They're a talented football team.
The Irish are 10th in the college football playoff rankings. I'm Kirk Darling, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Hey, Mark Dietel is the only real estate expert I trust and recommend with the sale of my home. And how about Ray in Indianapolis? Ray needed to move in a hurry, so he was out the door into a new house, but left with the big problem of selling his old house with 2 mortgage payments fast approaching. Heard about Mark Dietel on our show, and he was the answer. He was ecstatic when Mark sold his home for the price they needed in just 2 days on the market.
Mark Dietel is the best, and what separates him from the competition is the guarantee. Mark Dietel guarantees your home sold at a mutually agreed upon price and deadline, or he will buy it. That is the Mark Dietel guarantee. You pick your move date, no long-term contracts, and you can cancel at any time. Call Mark Dietel today, 755-4232. That's 317-755-4232, or go to markdietel.com. Mark, D-I-E-T-E-L, markdietel.com. Tell him Hammer and Nigel sent you.
This hour on 93 WIBC is powered by B&W HVAC, Plumbing and Electrical, your American Standard air dealer.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
When we talk about sending money somewhere, we're talking about printing the money because we have no money.
And Casey Daniels.
My government would never lie to me, would they?
On 93 WIBC.
Good morning. It is Thursday, November 7th. It is 5 minutes after 11. You're listening to Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. So any moment, Biden gives first speech after Trump win. So President Biden, he's set to address the nation from the White House Rose Garden, and he's expected to discuss the election results, emphasize the importance of working to bring the country together.
Hang on a second, Casey. Is he coming, or what was that?
Fox News said that they're just about to. He's getting set.
You're going to give us the signal, and we're going to go to you. Kylan is producing today. She's doing a fabulous job. And why can't he be on time? Like, what else does he have to do? Like, he's not actually presidenting anymore. He's hanging on beaches. He's screwing around.
They're massaging his cheeks to buff out the CPAP marks.
Like, I get you're the normal president of the United States. You got a million things going on.
Mm-hmm.
What is this guy doing? He's doing nothing. He's not presidenting. He's not going to meetings. He canceled that overseas trip. Like, can you just? He's gonna get winded talking for 5 minutes anyway. Can't you just do it on time, be done with it, and then we can get back? Because here's the thing: we got to do a tribute to Bruce coming up in this hour.
That's more important.
And I don't care if Biden's in the middle of his speech. We are doing a tribute to Bruce because Bruce was a much more important part and beloved part of this show than that guy was. So,
right.
Why can't he be on time?
Well, one of the things that he's supposed to be talking about is to ensure a smooth transition of power to President-elect Donald Trump. I love how they say that this is going to take place at 11 o'clock, and it's going to be on all the major networks and cable news channels and live streamed on the White House's YouTube page. It's so important that he does this, not important enough to be there on time.
Well, do you wonder, do they do that? Is it like, and this is more your world because you were in media management and so was your husband, do they do this as a wink and a nod to the networks like, hey, we'll goose you a little bit of a rating here. People are going to tune in early to see what he says, and then you guys can show off for a little bit.
No, I really don't think they care one way or the other. It's like, this is on our time. We let you know we're going to take over the networks for a message to the nation.
Yeah.
And
so they don't know. It's not like a thing where they're all in cahoots together, just making it up.
Oh, they're all in cahoots
Well, but
together,
I'm saying, like, on this, do they like, okay, hey, we tell you 11, you know it's going to be 11:10 before he gets out there. That way you can get a few extra eyeballs on your thing or whatever.
I don't think it's for ratings.
We're going to air this because it's a news event. But is anybody really, like, anticipating, oh, my gosh, I can't wait to see
something earth-shattering, like
Biden
what's he going to say?
has to say.
No. He reportedly spoke by phone to both Harris and Trump. He congratulated them both. He invited Donald Trump to meet him at the White House. Trump has accepted that invitation, and that meeting is expected to happen within days.
Maybe they'll go to the Lincoln bedroom and Trump can be like, there's Tad's photo.
There's Tad.
Tiny Tad, he died. He was very sad. Lincoln, they called it melancholy. Sleepy Joe, did you know they called it melancholy back then? They didn't. There's Tad.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I can't wait. He's got to do something in the Lincoln bedroom with Tad's photo the moment he gets back in as president.
So besides the legacy media and Kamala Harris, some other losers from election night.
Oh.
Can you name any more? Hollywood.
Well, you're talking in general.
Neocons.
You know what's interesting is
DEI.
There are at least 2. We'll see how it goes. It could be 3 with Pennsylvania. Well, maybe 4 with Wisconsin, but it's looking like 3 longtime senators, Democrats, and at least in the case of 2 of them in Ohio and Montana, 2 blue senators in red states are going to go down. And there was sort of this thing with Tester and Sherrod Brown of, they're able to poke through the partisanship, right? They're so beloved, or they have such machines in these states. It's almost what they tried to sell with Donnelly with Braun in 2018, if you remember, when Mike Braun was running against Joe Donnelly. Well, red wave or Indiana's a red state or Trump, it doesn't matter because Donnelly is so. No, what you're seeing in this country is the partisan divide now. There's very few mixed bags left. Like Larry Hogan is a great example. Larry Hogan, no relation to Hulk Hogan, former governor of Maryland, beloved governor of Maryland, won by 10 plus his last time he ran. Maryland's a blue state. He runs for Senate. Republicans are going, oh my gosh, what a pickup opportunity here that we got this A-plus candidate to run. He got smoked. The partisan divide is just getting greater, and you're seeing with both Sherrod Brown and Tester go down that these people in these red states are like, doesn't matter how you present yourself anymore. Doesn't matter even if you were working in some sort of bipartisan fashion. We are done enabling the party of fools. And it's the same. I'm saying it both ways, right? Like clearly Maryland was to Larry Hogan. How are you a beloved governor? You run for the Senate and they're like, nah, no thanks.
Nah.
Because people are just, we are a camp society now. I'm in this camp. You're in this camp. And the premise now is not to try to get the people in the middle. There's fewer and fewer of those. It's to get people into your camp so we don't have to work on you anymore.
Another big loser of the election was TV ratings. They were very small across the board compared to 2020. Fox News led all the networks.
Election night.
Prime time. Yes,
okay.
Election night.
So I wonder with this, like we talked about, I watched Charlie Kirk on election night, and I thought he did an infinitely better job than anything the networks were doing. I wonder, and there were millions of people watching him. I'm not saying it one single time, but I do wonder with all of these individual broadcasters now, who are becoming, Daily Wire and, all of the Ben Shapiro and these sort of people. Now, the left doesn't seem to have nearly as many of these types of guys as the right does, but are they starting to make substantial headway into picking off viewers that in the past have just simply gone, hey, I'm going to Fox News or I'm going to NBC or whatever?
I think it's interesting. You're a prime example of somebody who chose to go to a streaming platform versus
and it was better.
The broadcast.
It's not only did I choose to do it, it was better. Like I went into it because my wife said she wanted to watch it, thinking, this is going to be stupid. And then the more after 5 minutes of watching it, I said, let's just keep it on this. These guys are doing a really good job. And so I do think going forward, look, this, and we've talked about this before, traditional media is like a big ship, right? Or it's like a large dinosaur where it moves. It moves in bulk, but it's very hard for it to pivot or for it to turn or for it to adjust on the fly. And so I wonder with network media coverage or cable media coverage, if they're going to be able to make adaptations to get people to, because the polling stinks, right? I mean, clearly polling's off again.
Poly market was right on the nose, though.
Well, that's a great point, that the money, because this was the argument in 2020, and this is one of the reasons so many people had an issue with what happened, other than the 16 to 18 million people who have just disappeared. They're on the lost island somewhere. Yeah. That the financial
like
markets,
a fart in the wind, Rob.
Well, the financial markets at 10 o'clock or whatever were all in favor of Trump, right? And this is real money people are betting. This is not political gamesmanship or somebody cheering for their favorite candidate. It's like sports betting, right? You're betting on who you think is going to win. You don't bet with your heart unless you want to lose money. And how the money isn't wrong, right? Like Vegas, that's why Vegas always wins, the house. How was the money that wrong? Same thing here. The money beat the polling. Overwhelmingly, the money beat the polling in terms of accuracy.
Okay, so primetime coverage of the presidential election, it averaged 42.29 million viewers. This was across 18 cable and broadcast networks.
What was the number?
42.29 million. Okay. And this is between the hours of 7 p.m. and 11 p.m. And that was a 26% decline from 4 years ago.
Okay, so that's what over a third of the country was watching. I'm trying to figure out how many people Charlie Kirk had on his feed on election night. It'll take me a minute here to find it, but let's say 15% of the country then was watching. That seems very low, doesn't it? I mean, that seems like a very low percentage of the country, considering all the people who voted, engaging in finding out who won the election. I don't know. Am I way off on that?
I believe it's a little higher. It's closer to 22%. Nielsen is saying that they had 22% of TV households in the country watching election coverage, which was the lowest percentage going back to 1960. So if this was the most consequential election in our history, all these people waited in lines. They sure didn't stick around to see the outcome of it. And can I just point out one more thing? It is now 15 minutes after 11. The president said, they put out press releases, told the world he's going to talk at 11. If I were this late to a doctor's appointment, they would cancel it and then charge me money.
Well, right. I mean, and it's just totally disrespectful because, again, what is the guy doing? He's not doing anything. He's not presidenting. He canceled that overseas trip. He's just like, why can't you be on time? Why can't you just say, I'm going to be here at this time? I mean, he's going to talk. He's going to mumble for 5 minutes. He's going to whatever. And I don't know. I guess, do you want to take a break?
Yeah, let's take a break because chances are we'll get through that before he even makes his appearance on stage.
All right, let's do it.
It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
As the leaves turn golden and the air grows crisp, there's something special brewing, something that captures the very essence of fall. Introducing Pumpkin Something, a smooth, spice-filled bourbon infused with the perfect mixture of allspice, pumpkin, clove, cinnamon, and ginger. It's the taste of autumn in a glass, a sip of warmth on a cool evening. Crafted with care and precision at Hotel Tango Distillery. Known for its commitment to quality and innovation, this new blend promises a unique tasting experience that celebrates the essence of fall. Pumpkin Something from Hotel Tango Distillery is guaranteed to elevate any fall cocktail. Add it to your warm cider in the evening or to your fall lattes. You can do anything with Pumpkin Something from Hotel Tango Distillery. Available for a limited time only. Visit your local liquor store and bring home the taste of fall with Pumpkin Something from Hotel Tango Distillery, because autumn never tasted so good. Sip responsibly.
A true partner in your health dedicates time to understanding your needs. At CenterWell Senior Primary Care, doctors make one-on-one time with you a priority so you can get all your questions answered and feel more confident in your health care. See how it feels to have a team of senior care experts working together to help you feel your best. CenterWell, it's about time. Schedule a tour today at meetcenterwell.com. That's meetcenterwell.com.
You okay?
Sorry, I can't sleep with this cough.
Sounds like you need to vaporize that cold.
Vaporize?
Yeah, with NyQuil VapoCool. It's NyQuil plus a rush of Vicks vapors.
Whoa.
So you ready to get some sleep? Thank you, NyQuil VapoCool.
NyQuil VapoCool, the vaporizing nighttime coughing, aching, fever, best sleep with a cold medicine. And to vaporize sore throat pain, try Vicks VapoCool drops. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
If you've ever put off dealing with plumbing problems, you don't have to live that way. Maybe you tried to fix a leaky faucet yourself, or you're wishing that slow drain is going to magically start flowing again. Well, it's not. Stop putting things off and call Lance and his local team at LD Smith Plumbing. They'll give you honest advice at a fair price, and they leave your home even better than they found it. That's ldsmithplumbing.com. And tell them your second favorite plumber in the whole world, Denny Smith, sent you. ldsmithplumbing.com.
Why do I get valuable time?
Why can't he show up on time?
I love it when the networks go to commercial too. They're like, well, he's not out here, so we got to get paid.
So Biden was supposed to have a press conference at 11, and they know all these networks, radio, TV, whatever, are center. This is not part of the inside baseball here, but this is not just, hey, put Biden on the air. You got to find the satellite feed. You got to have your producer monitoring, which Kylan is doing the satellite feed. Mm-hmm. You got to plan your commercial breaks around, hey, we normally break at these times. We'll try to do it around this guy. We think this is when he's going to speak. And here we are, 20 minutes later, we've already made it into and out of a commercial break, and he's still
not there.
I mean, just a giant middle finger and what these people, can you imagine if you, you order a service, a plumber, or I guarantee our Garage Doors of Indianapolis guys are always on time, right? They do a good job. You couldn't run a business this way, and it's just so disrespectful.
Well, like I mentioned, if you were at a doctor's office at this point, you'd be considered late, and they would cancel the appointment and then charge you for it. So who do we bill for these 20 minutes?
Yeah. So did you have any show content for this hour?
I did. We were going to talk about Elon Musk.
He's the big winner, right? Did you see Tesla stock? I think Tesla's stock went way up yesterday.
It did shoot up, and some other winners were the podcasters, right? Podcasters for young men. They were big winners as well.
So Tesla is up 2.96% today, and it went up yesterday. So good, yeah. Elon Musk.
His Tesla stock
14% yesterday.
Yep, his Tesla stock rose 15%, adding over $15 billion to his fortune.
Well, and Fortune magazine actually had I guess I don't even know if there is an actual magazine anymore. It's now the online version of this. I don't know if Fortune magazine, as in physical magazine, still exists. But they had and the headline is how Elon Musk's $130 million investment in Trump victory could reap a huge payoff for Tesla and the rest of his business. Yeah, and we told you this. We said, look, this guy's not running a soup kitchen. Okay, he makes tons of money. A big portion of his fortune has been made off doing deals with the federal government. And that was why the one thing that kind of made me think, hey, Trump's probably doing okay, is Elon Musk would not go all in if he weren't pretty sure of the outcome, because it would have cost him big time. And $130 million is a drop in the bucket to Elon Musk. You could have lost when you're worth $200 billion, you could lose $1 billion and you don't know it's gone. By the way, look at this. So we got the Fox News feed up here. Look at this soldier who, he's just got to stand there like frozen until this decrepit old mummy shuffles out there. He's like, come on, dude, hurry up.
Well, it's a Marine. He would most likely be out there no matter what.
But I don't think they got to stand stoic like that. I mean, he looks like one of those guys in Great Britain with the big hats.
Yeah, the camera's just pointing their lens on him because they have nothing else to point it to because Biden's MIA.
It's just ridiculous. So it's like we plan our whole radio show for the hour around this guy. Okay, do we really want to air Biden? No, it's a news story. We probably need to do it. Okay, let's plan the hour around this. And I just
22 minutes
just
late.
So disrespectful to the American people. What is he doing?
Are they getting the meds right?
Well, you do have to ask the question. He's not presidenting. He's made it very clear. He's on a beach house. He disappears for large periods of time. He's not going on overseas trips. He's made it very clear he's not presidenting anymore. So the least you could do for this 5 minutes, you're going to try to put a string of coherent words together, is get out there on time out of respect to the American people.
Right. He's trying to wrap a bow around the wonderful fight that Kamala Harris.
Think they told him Kamala won? Do you think he'll come out there and say, "I'd like to congratulate Kamala Harris on her big victory"?
She owes it. He would take credit for it.
I'm half tempted just to go ahead and get another break out of the way, because it doesn't look like he's coming out yet. I mean, we got to get to the news too. What do you want to do? I mean, we're not missing my tribute to my dog. So
it's very important.
It's way more important than this guy. I mean, give me a freaking break that you can't. I mean, you're 23 minutes and counting late. It doesn't.
Okay.
What do you want to do?
Let's talk about this really quick. Okay, so I posed this question earlier when it comes to the Trump administration and Elon Musk's involvement. What is the vision and how fast will it happen? Because is Elon Musk going to have us walking around with Starlink in our pocket, on Tesla phones, robots around the house cleaning for us in these Tesla green integrated homes? Think about this. Trump's going to have 2.5 to 3 years before we start this process all over again. Who is that going to be, by the way, in 2028? Elon.
Oh, here we go. All right. He's shuffling out.
Oh, here he is.
Here comes Uncle Joe.
Oh, he's jogging to the podium.
Kylan, take the feed.
Yeah.
Thank you. Good to see this cabinet and staff together here. Thank you. Thank you. Please. Thank you. It's good to see you all. Particularly good to see my granddaughter sitting in the front row here. Hi, Finn. How are you, honey? For over 200 years, America has carried on the greatest experiment in self-government in the history of the world. And that's not hyperbole. That's a fact. We're the people. The people vote and choose their own leaders, and they do it peacefully. And we're in a democracy. The will of the people always prevails. Yesterday, I spoke with President-elect Trump to congratulate him on his victory. And I assured him that I'd direct my entire administration to work with his team to ensure a peaceful and orderly transition. That's what the American people deserve. Yesterday, I also spoke with Vice President Harris. She's been a partner and a public servant. She ran an inspiring campaign, and everyone got to see something that I learned early on to respect so much, her character. She has a backbone like a ramrod. She has great character, true character. She gave her whole heart and effort, and she and her entire team should be proud of the campaign they ran. You know, the struggle for the soul of America since our very founding has always been an ongoing debate and still vital today. I know for some people, it's a time for victory, to state the obvious. For others, it's a time of loss. Campaigns are contests of competing visions. The country chooses one or the other. We accept the choice the country made. I've said many times, you can't love your country only when you win. You can't love your neighbor only when you agree. Something I hope we can do, no matter who you voted for, is see each other not as adversaries, but as fellow Americans. Bring down the temperature. I also hope we can lay to rest the question about the integrity of the American electoral system. It is honest, it is fair, and it is transparent. And it can be trusted, win or lose. I also hope we can restore the respect for all our election workers who busted their necks and took risks at the outset. We should thank them. Thank them for staffing voting sites, counting the votes, protecting the very integrity of the election. Many of them are volunteers who do it simply out of love for their country. And as they did their duty as citizens, I will do my duty as president. I'll fulfill my oath, and I will honor the Constitution. On January 20th, we'll have a peaceful transfer of power here in America. To all our incredible staff, supporters, cabinet members, all the people who've been hanging out with me for the last 4 years, God love you, as my mother would say. Thank you so much. You put so much into the past 4 years. I know it's a difficult time. You're hurting. I hear you and I see you. But don't forget all that we accomplished. It's been a historic presidency. Not because I'm president, because what we've done, what you've done. A presidency for all Americans. Much of the work we've done is already being felt by the American people, but the vast majority of it will not be felt over the next 10 years. We have legislation we passed that's just only now just really kicking in. We're going to see over $1 trillion worth of infrastructure work done, changing people's lives in rural communities and communities that are in real difficulty because it takes time to get it done. And so much more. It's going to take time, but it's there. The road ahead is clear, assuming we sustain it. There's so much we can get done and will get done based on the way the legislation was passed. And it's truly historic. You know, we're leaving behind the strongest economy in the world. I know people are still hurting, but things are changing rapidly. Together, we've changed America for the better. Now we have 74 days to finish the term, our term. Let's make every day count. That's the responsibility we have to the American people.
All right, this is just turning into a campaign speech
Look,
at this
folks,
point. I've had enough of this. Do you agree?
74 days, make it count. He sounded like Leo DiCaprio.
Well, also, too, I love that he wants to take the temperature down now after he called me a fascist. Remember, he had that big presser with the blood red thing in the background, and I'm a fascist, but he wants to turn the... we got to go break.
Okay. News is coming up next from 93 WIBC.
Lovebirds, you're in for a treat. With your holiday proposal just around the corner, Shane Company is here to help you create your dream engagement ring. This is your moment. Let's make it magical. Through 4 generations as a family business, we've helped tons of couples find a beautiful engagement ring for a price that works with their budget. We've always sourced diamonds directly, cut out the middleman, and passed the savings on to you. At Shane Company, we have the widest selection of ring settings and center stones, in stock and ready to compare side by side. It's so easy. Choose a look that brings your vision to life. From classic styles to modern designs, we have them all. Then pick out a natural or lab-grown diamond, a sapphire in your favorite color, or a vibrant gemstone like ruby or amethyst. With our everyday competitive prices and free lifetime warranty, your forever after is safe with us. Visit shaneco.com and come see us in store. We've got your dream ring and fine jewelry gifts for everyone on your list. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Do you have $10,000, $20,000, or $30,000 in debt? Then listen to this. You may not be required to pay it all back.
I was drowning in debt.
I had over $36,000 in debt.
If I would have just made the minimum payments, it would have taken me 59 years to pay off.
Whether it's credit card, medical, or personal loan debt, National Debt Relief can help significantly reduce what you owe. In fact, debt relief payments can be 50% less than your monthly credit card payments. That's right, half as much as you're paying now.
National Debt Relief reduced my debt by over $27,000.
With National Debt Relief, you have a powerful team that knows how to talk to your creditors.
National Debt Relief, they got me out of debt.
More than 550,000 Americans have used National Debt Relief to reduce their debt. Call 800-885-5444 to see if you qualify to settle your debt for a fraction of what you owe. That's 800-885-5444. 800-885-5444.
Casey, you're a very wise woman.
Oh, thank you for noticing.
Well, I mean, the Democrats think you're an idiot.
Well, they think I'm an uneducated white woman.
But as a wise woman, I'm sure you've heard the saying, cash is king.
Yeah, I have heard that.
Yeah,
it's true most of the time.
Yeah, right, absolutely. But not when you're retired.
Yeah, it is Kendall and Casey. And when you're retired, cash is not king, income is king. But you can discover how you could turn your savings into a guaranteed stream of income in retirement. And that's with Bill Demery, your retirement guy in Indy.
Yeah, we trust Bill to help us with planning for our retirement, and you can too.
If you've saved more than $200,000, call Bill right now at 317-932-9912. Social Security alone won't be enough to pay for your retirement.
You need to create other sources of income that you can count on for the rest of your life. Call Bill Demery now at 317-932-9912. That's 317-932-9912. Bill Demery, your retirement guy, 317-932-9912. Tell him Kendall and Casey sent you.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Getting ready to transition. I'm Kirk Darling. Here's what's trending at 11:30. President-elect Donald Trump is figuring out who will be on his transition team and his cabinet for his new administration.
They are certainly ready. They're winding down with their celebration phase. Now they want to get to work, and that starts with making picks for the future Trump cabinet, and the transition team says they're well underway with that. They say in part, quote, in the days and weeks ahead, President Trump will be selecting personnel to serve our nation under his leadership and enact policies that make the life of Americans affordable, safe, and secure.
Fox's Bill Malugin. Cuba's entire population is without power after Hurricane Rafael made landfall yesterday. The state-run energy grid operator is blaming Rafael for knocking out power to some 10 million people. I'm Kirk Darling, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Research shows smoking costs Indiana businesses $3.1 billion every year. It also shows that an extra $2 per pack tax on cigarettes would drastically reduce smoking, which could save lives, create jobs, and infuse the state of Indiana with hundreds of millions of dollars annually. Read the reports from the Richard M. Fairbanks Foundation at thepriceofsmoking.org and see for yourself how an extra $2 per pack tax on cigarettes can have a positive impact on Hoosiers.
Weekend emergency? No problem. They're here for you 7 days a week at B&W HVAC Plumbing and Electrical. B+W.com/radio to learn more. B&W is your independent American Standard air dealer.
You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC.
So he lost in his own home county. He couldn't even pull his own neighborhood.
So Tim Walz, it's come out, the New York Post has a story that he lost his home county to Trump. So with a county in Minnesota where he lives. Now Trump, or Walz and Harris obviously won Minnesota, the state, and that was never really in question, but he lost his home county to Trump. That's amazing.
Did you see the other data point? People on the other side are saying how it was uneducated white women who elected Donald Trump. But the other data,
it's all your fault.
Yeah, well, I'm educated, but whatever. Well, I don't know. I don't know what the marker is.
Thank you.
How educated do I have to be?
Well, thank you. Right? Like who gets to define what educated is? Like only if you went to an Ivy League school system. I mean,
right.
What if you went to IUPUI like I did?
That doesn't count.
You are UIndy, is that right? UIndy like Kylan. I mean, like what if you went to an apprentice school? What if you just graduated high school? Like, what does that mean? See, this is the problem when you have, and look, Twitter sphere, Reddit sphere, you're 330 million people. You're going to have some lunatics in there. But there are a lot of people who believe that instead of looking at, and both sides should do this when you lose. I lost. Why did I get fewer votes than the other person? What was this election about? Where did I not resonate? And how do I improve that the next time I'm on the ballot? How do I tailor my message? How do I find issues to talk about? Because most people are not, or not most people, but it's like 40% each way, right? You're not swaying 40% this side. You're not swaying 40% this side. There's like 20 in the middle. They get to decide who the winner is. And you gotta find out why those people didn't. They're not into politics. They don't live it. They just go vote every 4 years. And sometimes it's on a whim, and sometimes it's on an issue, and you got to figure out why that is.
The other data point that many people are starting to point out is that Generation X is the one that showed up big to vote. These are the people that grew up in the 80s and early 90s. And I think it was 46%. So the largest demographic to vote was Generation X. So, I mean, you know what? Depending on how you feel, you can give someone like me all the blame or all the credit because I fall into two of those categories.
And, you know, you and I have both said this. I know I have done this. I'm sure you've done this. We are split ticket voters. We are open. We're open. Like if the Democrats had run a normal attorney general candidate who come out and said, I'm for the law. I don't care about what the law is that I have to uphold, the abortion ban, I'm all in, you know, whatever it is. This is my job. I'm running down the middle. I'm getting the politics out of it. I would have been open to voting for that person because I believe that's what that job required. I didn't vote for the Republican for U.S. Senate because he refused to debate. Didn't, you know, not fired up at all about the guy who ran as libertarian, but he was the only option out there. I have voted for Democrats before. A lot of these people could say they've never voted for Republican. You and I are open to whoever the best person is. We actually put the research in. We can be swayed to vote for a libertarian or in a rare occasion, but even a Democrat if they're more conservative or common sense, to steal a phrase from Jennifer McCormick, than the Republican. The Democrats didn't offer that. They didn't offer it locally. They certainly didn't offer it nationally. And instead of doing this, the proper postmortem, which is why did we lose? How do we need to change our message? How do we need to go find... They didn't even win in most of the swing, you know, the Zionsville. Becky Cash was leading yesterday. I mean, Danny Lopez, Hunter Smith. They're all those swing states, all the swing House districts. They didn't even win any of them, at least as of yesterday. So I just...
But rather than look in the mirror and say, where did we go wrong? Why are we not resonating with this huge population of Americans? Instead, it's the blame game.
And you will be back to that again in a couple of years, and it's up to the Republicans to govern now, because if they don't govern effectively, they'll hand power right back to the Democrats. So it's up to them to come up with They didn't really run on a clear agenda. They ran on some ideas. There was no contract with America, right? So
I'm not Donald Trump is not policy.
Well, but the Republicans have got to get the spending under control. You got to do some things, et cetera. All right, we're gonna take a break. As most of you know now, Bruce, the beloved mascot of the Kendall and Casey show, the mascot of my life, my best friend. He passed away yesterday, and so we will close our show. I know many of you loved Bruce, and so we're We're gonna go out today with the parting tribute to Bruce that he deserves.
It's Kendall and Casey. It's 93 WIBC.
Hey, Bill, where you been? You're overdue for a haircut.
Listen, my water pipes burst and flooded my house. Place a mess. I've been staying with my daughter till I can figure out what to do.
You trying to fix it and move back in?
No way. It's too big a mess. It'll cost me tens of thousands of dollars. I ain't got that kind of money.
You trying to sell it then?
Well, that's what I'd like to do, but who's going to buy my house in this condition?
Did you call Simple Quarters?
Simple Quarters?
Simple Quarters bought our house when we were in a jam. We needed to move real quick. They closed fast and gave us cash.
Simple Quarters will buy in any condition?
That's right. They buy as is. You don't have to repair anything or clean anything out. It's simple.
What do I have to do?
Just call them. They'll do a quick walkthrough, then they'll make you an offer.
Simple Quarters is a local Christian company that loves to help people in difficult situations. Call Simple Quarters at 317-900-HOME. That's 317-900-HOME. Check us out at simplequarters.com.
Hey guys, it's Rob for Life Church. You know, it's Thursday. That means Sunday's going to be right around the corner. It'll be here before you know it. And this Sunday, if you're looking for a new church home or even a first church home, check out the place we call home, Life Church. Man, we love Life Church. They've had such an amazing impact on my life, on my wife's life, on my daughter's life. And many WIBC listeners have found a home at Life Church over the years. They're warm, they're welcoming. They love the opportunity to meet and welcome you and your family. Campuses all across central Indiana, Noblesville, Fishers, Eagle Creek, and Pendleton, plus awesome online services. Learn more about everything at lifechurchin.com.
As the summer fades and the cool breeze of fall sets in, it's the perfect time to get back to the basics, especially when it comes to your financial future. At Howard Bailey Financial, we believe in simplifying your retirement plan. Our team of advisors help you build a customized retirement strategy that is designed to help reduce risk, increase income, and mitigate tax. Whether you're just starting out or looking to refine your plan, we're here to guide you every step of the way. It's never too early or too late to make sure your financial future is secure. Text BASICS to 888-262-1104 to download your complimentary retirement planning toolkit today. That's BASICS to 888-262-1104. Howard Bailey Financial. Back to the basics. Forward to your future. Howard Bailey Securities, LLC is an independent financial services firm and uses a variety of different investment strategies. Please see disclosures at howardbailey.com.
We know to contact Indiana 811 at least 2 working days before every dig. But did you know spraying a white line around your digging area means utility flags will be placed only in that area? Fewer flags in the yard? Easier mowing? Everybody wins.
Except for my kid.
I don't want to mow the yard.
Contact Indiana 811 and white line before every project. It's the only way to dig. Learn more at 811.safedigindiana.com.
Sponsored by the Indiana Utility Regulatory Commission and aired by this station.
This is a story of the one. As a maintenance specialist for university housing, he knows college students can major in wear and tear. Plus, housing so many students doesn't leave a lot of room to house all the supplies he needs. That's where Grainger comes in. With over 1 million industrial-grade products and fast, dependable delivery, Grainger carries the quality products he needs so he doesn't have to. From a new door hinge to a whole new faucet. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This is an important notice to all U.S. taxpayers. The IRS is giving away billions of dollars in tax savings through a federal program called the Fresh Start Initiative to aid delinquent taxpayers. This initiative was established for anyone facing financial hardship and unable to pay their back taxes. Qualifying and enrolling in this program will stop all collections, settle your delinquent tax problem, and even reduce what you owe by thousands of dollars. Call the hotline at People's Tax Relief to see if you qualify and get this free information by dialing 800-285-0395. If you have unfiled tax returns or cannot afford to pay your personal or business back taxes, you can now get the help you need. One simple phone call can resolve your tax problem and save you thousands of dollars. To see if you qualify and to get this important free information, call 800-285-0395. 800-285-0395. 800-285-0395.
Reach your fitness goals in 2024 with the 20-minute once-a-week program at Exercise Inc. 5 locations now in Fishers. Visit exerciseinc.com.
Never miss your favorite shows on WIBC. Get your content to go.
Would you like
Tony Katz, Kendall and Casey, Hammer and Nigel, Tony Kennett, The Gun Guy, Home and Garden. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.
When they built you up, they turned us into gold. They built you brother, they broke them. They say you can't take it with you, but I think that they're wrong. 'Cause all I know is I woke up this morning and something big is gone.
It is the Kendall and Casey show. I'm Rob. Casey's here. And Casey, I think most of our listeners are aware. Yesterday was kind of a sad day.
Yeah, you've had quite an emotional week, and I'm curious to see how you're doing. You've had the highest of highs with your friend Micah Beckwith being the lieutenant governor-elect, but then yesterday you had to experience something on the downside.
Yeah, the unofficial mascot of the Kendall and Casey show, Bruce, passed away yesterday. Most of our listeners are aware of that by now. And I just, first of all, I want to thank all of our listeners who, over the many, many years, certainly not just recently, but over many, many years, have taken an interest in Bruce's life, who have loved Bruce, who have checked on Bruce, and we really, really appreciated that. Bruce knew about that. He really appreciated that. And, you know, it was interesting, Casey. We kind of knew this was coming over the last couple days. And, you know, it's always that double-edged sword when you know the time your pet is going to go, because on one hand, it's this cloud that's kind of hanging over you. But then on the other hand, everybody gets the opportunity to say all the things, right? And the reality is Bruce was very old. He lived a very long, very healthy life, certainly by Bulldog standards. And, you know, it was interesting yesterday before we left. I told him, I said, I am amazed at your goodness. And what I mean by that is every person who had an interaction with Bruce, it was a positive one. Like, Bruce lived to give love to other people, and he lived to receive love. Like, that was his whole existence. And I said, given my life and who I am, I said, I am amazed at your ability to bring joy and happiness and receive joy and happiness from literally every single person he ever interacted with.
Yeah. And you took good care of him, too. And I think you mentioned something in a Twitter post last night, which will be his enduring legacy for your family. And that is the fact that your daughter is not afraid to be around dogs and loves dogs, and forever in her life will appreciate our four-legged friends.
Yeah, and it's just amazing to me because Bruce instinctively knew, hey, this little baby is very special. And the crazy thing is, and you've been around Bruce, when somebody would come in the house, he would immediately, in a very loving fashion, do you need a new best friend, right? and he was very, he would rub up on you, he would come up to you, and he instinctively knew with Livy, like, this is a precious little baby. I can't do that with her.
Yeah.
And no matter how many times, before Livy was in daycare, her whole day would basically be she wanted to go back and see Bruce. And you could tell Bruce was like, again with this baby. But no matter how many times she would come back there, he would sit there and he would let her, you know, babies, they don't really pet dogs. They kind of like hit on them. And he would just lovingly sit there with her. And Livy's first words, other than mama and dad, were dog.
Yeah.
And she loves dogs. She's obsessed with dogs. And so, you know, I wrote in her journal last night, through the remainder of her life, Bruce, being so wonderful, will stay with her as long as she loves dogs, because that love of dogs was built out of her initial experience with dogs and Bruce's interaction with her. So 70, 80 years from now, Bruce could still be giving.
Right.
Long after I'm gone, and through her love of dogs. And then if she passes that down, it's the legacy of love that Bruce gave. And, you know, I don't know if you remember several months ago now, I bartended a celebration of life ceremony. I was thinking about this driving into work today. And the guy who gave the eulogy, or whatever you want to call it, told this incredible story. And it stuck with me. And I was thinking about how this is perfect for Bruce. He said, our life is like a train ride in the sense of we drive our own train and we are passengers on other people's trains. And if you think about it, like your life is basically, if in your own train, a set of passengers getting on and off your train.
Yeah.
Some people
stay for the whole ride.
Yeah, stay for the whole ride. And some people, it's very brief and it's very quick, and then they're in and out. And with Bruce, he was a passenger for his whole life on my train.
Right.
And he was such a great passenger that to the very end, you're like, I don't want you to get off the train.
Yeah.
Like his whole life was about love and goodness, and that speaks to who he was, that he was such a great passenger that you're like, is there a way I can keep you from getting off my train? And then if you look at the other side of it, which is Bruce's train, all of his passengers, other than basically Gabrielle and my parents, were relatively short stays. But every person who got on Bruce's train, even if it was just on social media, had these incredible interactions. And I was amazed at, like 600 people now have liked that post, and then hundreds more on Twitter and Instagram. And it's like this dog who so many people never met, he brought such unconditional happiness to people. And man, that's just, what a legacy.
That's what I love about our pets is they always love us. They wait for us, and they're always happy to see us.
Yeah.
And they're always there for us.
And it's been so weird, like the past, whatever it's been, not quite 24 hours, but it's like there's just an emptiness in the house.
Yeah.
And I just, that goes away, right? And
grief comes in waves.
Yeah, it does. And, I went through the same thing. I had an English bulldog for many, many years when I was a kid named Hoosier, and, he passed away. And that will come and go. But I just wanted to, again, thank everybody for all the love you gave Bruce. It was an honor to share him with you. And so I wanted to say thank you for that, because that to me was the thing, was that I got to be a part of your lives, and you got to be a part of my life through this dog. And that was a real honor. So we're going to close with something a little different. I think most of our audience knows Bruce was obviously named for
Bruce Springsteen.
And I wanted to play a song for Bruce.
Yeah.
If that's all right.
You got it.
All right. So here we go. Bruce, we love you. You are the best. And it was an honor to be your dad.
The road is long and swimming without end. The days go on. I remember you, my friend. And though you're gone, and my heart's been emptied, it seems, I'll see you in my dreams. I got the old guitar here by the bed. All your favorite I see you in my dream. You in my dream. You in my and I'll see you in my dreams.
Hammer and Nigel Show 306 is when we crack the mic. Closing arguments in the Delphi case, more election fallout. Rob Kendall off the rails. 93 WIBC.
So what's in the bag today? Yesterday's leftovers? Another lunch meat sandwich? Well, go ahead and pull up a rock and settle in for a half hour of I wish I was eating something else. Or you could be eating something else, or someplace else. If you're brown bagging it at the corner of 30th and Shadeland area, drop over to His Place Eatery for 30 minutes of, why didn't I know about this place sooner? Nothing fancy, not a lot of frills. They save that for the quality of the meal. Like ribs that fall off the bone, southern fried chicken, sides that will cause your taste buds to thank you into tomorrow. Put that in your brown bag and eat it. Better yet, bank the bag. Go to His Place Eatery at the corner of 30th and Shadeland, or the newest location off 86th and Ditch Road. Your dirty boots and work clothes are welcome here. His Place, your place for lunch. Go to hisplaceeatery.com to learn more.
This is an important notice to all U.S. taxpayers. The IRS is giving away billions of dollars in tax savings through a federal program called the Fresh Start Initiative to aid delinquent taxpayers. This initiative was established for anyone facing financial hardship and unable to pay their back taxes. Qualifying and enrolling in this program will stop all collections, settle your delinquent tax problem, and even reduce what you owe by thousands of dollars. Call the hotline at People's Tax Relief to see if you qualify and get this free information by dialing 800-285-0395. If you have unfiled tax returns or cannot afford to pay your personal or business back taxes, you can now get the help you need. One simple phone call can resolve your tax problem and save you thousands of dollars. To see if you qualify and to get this important free information, call 800-285-0395. 800-285-0395. 800-285-0395.
Hey, can you blow up some balloons for Jack's party?
I can't. I'm so congested.
You need Sinex Saline from Vicks.
Sinex Saline Nasal Spray?
Yeah, just Sinex. Breathe.
Sinex Saline instantly clears everyday congestion associated with colds and year-round allergies with a gentle, ultra-fine mist that's no mess and easy to control.
Daddy, we need more balloons.
On it.
Enjoy life's important moments without congestion. Try Sinex Saline from Vicks. Just Sinex. Breathe. Use as directed.
Hey guys, it's Rob Kendall. Give back November 21st at Hi-Fi. Get tickets to a celebrity bartender toast to Moselle Sanders, powered by Jack Daniels. A night of community, Jack Daniels cocktails, and fighting food insecurity. Sample signature cocktails crafted by celebrity bartenders, all working to help raise $10,000 to feed 10,000 people this Thanksgiving through the Moselle Sanders Foundation. Tickets start at $20, with all proceeds benefiting Moselle Sanders Foundation's mission to support families in need. Get tickets at hifiindy.com.
Finally, a sports betting podcast for real dudes, not these male Kardashians that you see on television. The Degenerates Next Door Sports Betting Podcast. We do all the homework, we do it for free, and we don't wear skinny jeans.
The Degenerates Next Door. Subscribe wherever you get your podcast. Download today The Degenerates Next Door.
If you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-9-WITH-IT.
On the level, on the go. 93 WIBC Indianapolis.
Coming up. You can't love your country only when you win.
The defense team representing Richard Allen caught everyone off guard Wednesday morning.
We constantly say on almost every one of these,
This is the WIBC News at noon.
He's upset about the now, but looking ahead to what's next. It's partly cloudy and 55 degrees on Monument Circle. I'm John Herrick. Here's what's trending at 12 noon. President Joe Biden speaking at the White House this morning.
You can't love your country only when you win. You can't love your neighbor only when you agree.
He congratulated Donald Trump on winning the race for president and also made a promise after thanking the American people for voting.
And as they did their duty as citizens, I will do my duty as president. I'll fulfill my oath, and I will honor the Constitution. On January 20th, we'll have a peaceful transfer of power here in America.
Biden also said he called Vice President Kamala Harris and thanked her for running a great campaign. Trump will have to fill around 4,000 government positions, including 1,200 that require Senate approval. His transition team is being led by friends and family, including his adult sons, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. and former Democrat Tulsi Gabbard. The team's co-chairs are Cantor Fitzgerald CEO Howard Lutnick and former wrestling executive Linda McMahon. At the Delphi murders trial this morning, prosecutor Nick McClelland finished up his closing argument in just under an hour as he tries to convince the jury that Richard Allen killed Abby Williams and Libby German in Delphi back in 2017. Allen's team is giving its closing argument now. They have up to 2.5 hours to speak to the jury. Then McClelland can have a rebuttal followed by jury deliberations. Allen has always maintained that he's innocent. As for what happened in that trial on Wednesday, here's Donnie Burgess.
The defense team representing Richard Allen caught everyone off guard Wednesday morning when they rested their case. The state had to scramble to bring in 3 more witnesses for quick rebuttal testimony. The state called psychiatrist Dr. John Martin, who testified to seeing Richard Allen in a state of psychosis for some time, but said Allen was better by the time he made one last confession. Donnie Burgess, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
In Indianapolis, police had snipers on rooftops during a standoff that stretched from Wednesday into this morning.
It was in Indianapolis at a home on the city's east side near Sherman Drive and East Washington Street, where neighbors started seeing lots of cops and eventually a rolling command center with a SWAT team enter their neighborhood. A woman had called police to tell them that she was being held by gunpoint, but that she was able to get away from a man who was in a home. When police surrounded that home, he started shooting at them. They had to use flashbangs to distract him while they handcuffed him. No police officers were injured. Ryan Hedrick, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
A man was shot and killed Wednesday night on the east side of Indianapolis. Police found his body in the back of a home after responding to a disturbance call.
Other than what we constantly say on almost every one of these is that, if you're having disturbances, solving your problems by violence is not the answer.
IMPD Captain Don Weilhammer says they're looking for witnesses. The Marion County Coroner's Office identified the man as Aaron Lamont Green. Where you're being told to slow down while the stack of money for one Hoosier has piled up. Those stories and more next on 93 WIBC.
Coming up on Tony Katz today, the data doesn't lie, but the liars don't like the data. That's after the news at noon on 93 WIBC.
Helping to protect competition in Hoosier markets is one of the goals for Indiana Attorney General Todd Rokita, who's entering his second term now. He wants to prevent situations like one in Northwest Indiana where a hospital put a doctor under contract and forced him to shut down his practice.
And so that hospital became the one source of radiology treatment in that community, and immediately the prices went up. So I can already see that we're going to need to look at broadening that antitrust, that monopolistic enforcement.
In a news conference this morning, Rokita said he's excited to work with Governor-elect Mike Braun and President-elect Trump. He also says he's not interested, though, in any kind of a job in Trump's administration. A recent study, though, shows that Indiana is one of the cheapest states in which to visit a pediatrician. Sasha Nixon reports.
According to Birth Injury Lawyers Group, Indiana is the 6th cheapest state on the list. The first 5 in order are Arkansas, Mississippi, Idaho, Nebraska, and Tennessee. These results were determined by evaluating the average maximum Medicare costs for new patients in 2022. In the Hoosier State, that average cost is $167.54. Sasha Nixon, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
NDOT is lowering the speed limit on a section of state highway in Hendricks County. Here's Kurt Darling with that story.
The speed limit along US 40 just west of Plainfield is now 45 miles an hour between Ventura and Vandalia Boulevards. It was lowered from 55. NDOT spokesman Blake Dollar.
This isn't
construction where you see that speed limit reduced. This is a permanent change.
He tells Wish TV they had been planning on lowering the speed limit for a while, but what sped up the process was a fatal crash that happened back in August in which a police officer collided with an SUV and an elderly couple was killed. Kirk Darling, 93 WYBC Mobile News.
And a Powerball ticket worth $500,000 was bought in Indianapolis this week. Harrison Silcox reports.
That ticket was bought at my gas station 3 at West 16th Street and North Tibbs Avenue in the west side before the drawing Monday. The Hoosier Lottery says the ticket had matched 4 out of the 5 white balls along with a power play of 10X. Whoever won all that cash, if you're listening, the Hoosier Lottery says keep that ticket in a safe place before you're able to cash out and maybe think about talking to a financial advisor on what to do with all that money. Harrison Silcox, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
Nothing on your radar right now. 55 degrees in downtown Indy, a high of 59 this afternoon. I'm John Herrick on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
This hour on 93 WIBC is powered by B&W HVAC, Plumbing and Electrical, your American Standard air dealer.
Live from the heartland and the crossroads of America, it's Tony Katz Today.
And anyone who seeks the public trust must honor it. At the same time, in our nation, we owe loyalty not to a president or a party, but to the Constitution of the United States. And loyalty to our conscience and to our God. My allegiance to all three is why I am here to say, while I concede this election, I do not concede the fight that fueled this campaign.
Do you want me to believe that the Democratic